Nobody named Kevin podcast. Just to confirm, guys, anyone here in the room named Kevin?
Nah, couldn't be me.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely never. Yeah. So I guess we're good to get rolling.
Yeah, bro. So what you want to talk about first?
What's new, man?
Like I told you, I dumped $500 more into Ethereum.
Damn. Okay, so you're really going after it.
Yeah, I put money into it. The problem is it's not getting enough of a percent gain to get me past the commissions. So like right now, I'm maybe up an actual dollar of profit, or I'm about to break even because of commissions.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I got into a lot of the altcoins. I got into the Algorand, Stellar Lumens. I got into Uni. My main one is going to be Ethereum Cosmos. So I'm glad I called that. I got that at 9. It's at 15.
That was a good one.
Yeah, and then Bitcoin I'm going to kind of put here and there, but
Bitcoin's
Ethereum's the main squeeze.
Like the problem for me
all
is
the ones you just named are in the same.
Dude, the ones that are like actually going anywhere and going up and already have value to them are not making a percent enough jump for me to make any quick cash off of it is the problem. But
it's not going to be a quick cash thing.
Yeah, I have to keep in mind I can't do it for quick cash. I have to be willing to hold for the long. Because like I was looking at what was it? I was thinking maybe I think it's Litecoin. LITE coin.
Yep.
I was thinking about that because I'm like, that one's well established. There's some money in it. It's actually got it there. I'm like, is this the chance to get in before the huge spike, or is this just what it's gonna stay at?
I mean, just like the stocks, man, it's not a quick cash thing. I think keeping diversified and kind of watching it and keeping, sticking to your guns on some things is what's gonna pay off, because nobody could have predicted Bitcoin's level that it's at. Everybody was calling it like it's going to rise, but everyone's predictions are like, 500K, it's going to be at 100K. And while it does rise, like, there was only a few select people that became multimillionaires off of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Like, and then, stocks too. In 10 months, I tripled my money, but that's because I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
I just didn't look at it, didn't touch it. Now I look at it because now I'm in crypto and it's exciting to look at every day, but I still don't touch my stocks. I don't touch them. I did get a craving today though. I was wanting to upgrade my guitar, and there's that little voice in your head where you're like, you have extra money to burn or whatever hobby you have. And part of me was like, the way, like, if you ever tell yourself no, your brain starts selling you on why you should do it, right? So like the way my brain was telling me, like selling me was like, well, you made this much money on the stock market, you made this much money on crypto. So if you pull 200 to 300 out of your stock market, you actually get these upgrades to your guitar for free. And I'm like, no, I can't listen to this because I've now lost that money. and I'm like, I need to listen. Like, why do I want to upgrade my guitar? And I'm like, it's the same reason we upgrade anything. Like, we think like if you get a different guitar, you put upgrades on it, you're just going to be some virtuoso, right? Like people think like if you buy some certain supplements at the gym, you're going to look completely different. It's like nothing's going to really change, bro. Like,
are you telling me that by taking supplements, I'm not going to look like the guy on the actual bottle?
Believe it or not.
Oh, dude, that's wild.
That guy looked like that before he started taking those.
That was some, steroids.
Yeah.
Some HGH
Well, dude, and then
there.
Believe it or not,
it's always going to be that way forever. Because like I look up, reviews for certain guitar upgrades, like pickups and stuff, and it's like these absolute legends. Like, yeah, here's how we made it. I'm like, bro, you've been shredding like that 10 years before you made some piece of hardware. If you really think about it.
That's just it, though. Like, I can see the argument of, like, yes, you should get this because it's a cleaner audio quality. But it's like, dude, if you don't have the skill's not there. Like, you can take a random man off the street, put him in a huge recording studio, and it's still not going to sound good. Like, while all the audio quality is going to be perfect, it doesn't make him where he can sing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean... And then just like even think about what we're doing now. What if we started out with a $40,000 studio and then we just suck? It's like we need to get the 80% done, the 80% of just making it good first, you know? And that's with anything, man. Like
Benjamin Button.
You know?
Dude, so that's the real question. If this gets rolling, do we get a studio?
If I moved back closer to y'all, sure.
Nah,
but I don't think we need a studio. I think it's more we just pick. I think we just pick someone's room in their house, whoever has a spare room, and set it up.
So you're saying just make someone's house the studio?
Yeah, just whoever has a spare room, be like, look, it's just the mics and whatever in there, and it's like a table. Like,
so it's probably gonna be my house, your house, or Quentin's whenever he gets a house.
Bro, act like we couldn't just convert one of Chris's rooms.
Yeah, that's what I'm laughing about, bro. We could literally do that.
I picture her like walking in one day and like we all turn. She's like, "Oh, y'all doing y'all's podcast? Okay, I'll talk to y'all in a bit."
I can see that happening.
She wouldn't tell us no.
Yeah, she would wait until we left though, and then she would tell Quentin like, "What the hell, bro?"
Yeah, that's supposed to be my scrapbook room.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That'd be so funny. Like the background is all the scrapbooking stuff.
It's just like pictures of our childhood, random kids, stuff like that, just all over the walls.
Patrick Swayze.
Hey, bro, I ain't mad at the Patrick Swayze, though.
Actually, I ain't mad at that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, somebody comes on, they're like, dang, these guys talk about scrapbooking or something?
Dude, start a scrapbooking podcast.
I bet it's out there.
Oh, I guarantee it. There's probably some grandmother or something.
Speaking of niches like that, one of the highest selling teachable courses is a lady teaching you how to make sourdough bread.
That makes sense, though.
Like, makes sense.
Sourdough bread is like
so
a legit skill.
Down.
Dude,
but it's so niche down. You're like, I thought I'd have to teach people like how to make money or something. Like, no, it's like sourdough bread.
I mean, selling course. It makes sense though, because you have to like grow your own like sourdough yeast and stuff like that to it. Like you have to get your own strand, grow the yeast and stuff. So I mean, it makes sense. Like there's some like sourdough strands that have been going for years and like decades and stuff.
I think it is just interesting, like how everyone gets in the mentality of like, I got to be amazing at everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, she's just really good at sourdough bread.
I mean, to be honest, though, I ain't mad at it. Like, if I was really good at making sourdough bread, like, I mean, I'm sure she at some point was selling sourdough bread or something like that. And then she was just like, why don't I just teach people to do it, and I don't have to work as hard. They'll work.
Yeah. Like, yeah, PewDiePie once said, don't be a salad, be the best damn broccoli you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Same effect. Same effect.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. Why work harder than you have to?
Specialize.
Yeah, for us. I mean, I guess if you got a skill and you can teach people it, like, I mean, I guess it's kind of the same idea of like how you can hire like gaming coaches and stuff like that.
That's crazy to think about, but yeah.
Well,
there are gaming coaches, yeah.
See, that's one of those things though that I don't fully understand is like gaming coaches, because like I feel at a certain point like you have game knowledge. Like if you play the game enough, you'll learn what you're supposed to be doing, and then at that point it just comes down to who can do it quicker and more precisely. So it's like, how do you like, there's little trainers for it, but it's never gonna, it's like playing basketball, you know, you can run drills all day, but it's not the real game.
So,
yeah, coach
and
still has a position.
Go ahead.
A coach still has a part to play, though. Like, I mean, you can still get coached, I think, to a certain extent, even if you're running drills. They have to push you, even though it's a video game, but comparing it to basketball.
I mean, at the same time, though, like basketball, though, they can, like, I don't know, I feel like their drills and their workout are like, all right, keep fresh on it and like stuff like that. So I guess it makes sense, but like even then, like when you're first starting out and you're first playing, I feel like a coach does a different job than what you are at the highest level.
True.
So there's two sides to this. So there is that, like, there's coaches who have led champion athletes, who could never play like them, right? Because they observed what that champion doesn't see. So there's two sides to this. But the other thing, what you were saying, Clayton, is it takes me down another rabbit hole, is you're like, at some point you got to play and it's on you. That to me is the personal trainer argument. Because, like, yes, you can hire someone to teach you how to do the workout. To literally, some people you can pay them a lot more. They'll make the food for you. They will make the food for you, pack it, prepare it for you. And still, it's at some point you have to do the work. So it's like, how effective is it? And I get it. Like, if you have the cash, like, I'll pay you, teach me how to play this game better, or I'll pay you, show me the workout. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that, to me, that is the personal training argument of, like, at some point, you got to realize it's just you.
I mean, the number one thing, like, even that book you gave us about, like, habit forming, they say the best thing to do is get a partner involved, because then you hold each other accountable to it. Like, me personally, like, dude, I've started thinking about working out, but I'm like, I can't hold myself to it. So for me, I'm considering, like, if I make a little bit more money, maybe I could just do a personal trainer. Like, if I do a personal trainer, that'll give me someone that's accountable for it. And then I was like, well, what if I want to start now? If I'm like, okay, well, if I want to start now, I just have to convince Q, like, hey, bro, let's go work out, and get them all amped up.
I'll do it.
Well, dude, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not, like, saying personal training is bad at all. Like, I tried to do it. I was unsuccessful at it. But I'm saying, like, at some point, it comes to you. And I think if it gets people started, that's probably 90% of the reason people hire them. They need accountability. That's it. Some people already know how to work out. They need someone to be like, show up 7 a.m. or I'm charging you more. And they're like, all right, I'll show up.
Well, dude, see, that's the thing, though. For me, I feel like working out, the thing that keeps me out of it, dude, the workout game has changed so much. Like, when I knew how to work out, it was like, all right, yeah, we bench, we squat, we do some curls. That's it. It's over, bro. And now it's like, no, you got to do skull crushers. You got to have kettlebell workouts. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do it the wrong way. I want to get yoked if I'm going to do it.
Dude, oh my God. It's so funny you say that. So those cycles everything goes through, more marketing. I'll tell you, I do a simpler workout than I did when I first got in shape. And I'm already pretty much 80% to where I used to be. 3 days a week, full body, super chill, and I'm like, I'm still pushing myself to do more weight to go further, but it's like, dude, some of my workouts, man, like, dude, cute, bro. We used to go like an hour and a half.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm now 45 minutes, bro. I'm in and out. But the other side of that is that I loved being there for an hour and a half. I had nothing else to do. I was like, I just want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, because it became a hobby for y'all.
It became a lifestyle. Now it's a hobby. Then it was a lifestyle. Because, like, after I got out of the gym, I'm watching YouTube about people working out. I'm looking up what's the new literature on grams per freaking protein per body pound. Drinking out of shaker cup, bro. It like you get just like anything, bro. You start consuming it because you're like, I want to be about it. I got to live it.
I feel like that is one of the classic workout things for people. Is that no matter like how long you've worked out, the shaker cup is when you know you're legit. Like when you have other cups, everything that's cooler, shaker cup's what you drink out of, even if it's just water.
And here's the thing. It's like the beginner's introduction. You're like, oh man, that looks legit. A blender ball that shakes. And then you get to the intermediate and advanced level. And you're like, you throw out the blender ball. You keep these as relics of the past. Of like, you're like, I remember when I started. But you transcend the blender ball cup and you're like, I don't need that. And you just start getting into weird stuff, bro. Just like anything, like the iceberg goes so far down.
There's so much beneath that. Well, dude, like when you were telling me like, oh yeah, I gotta get a scale. Like I thought you were getting a scale to like measure out your food and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, bro, that's like next level. I can't do that.
I have before.
Yeah. Dude, no, that was how I got the most shredded. Like the photos I have where I am like diced Yeah, I was weighing my food, and I did it so often I didn't have to weigh it anymore. Like I could say, that's 100 grams of that. That's 150 grams of that. And like, I was like, dude, it was like a calculator was always running in my brain of like my calories and my proteins. Dude, that was when I was shredded. So now I just kind of loosely, I'm like, I need this much protein, this many calories, and I'm just kind of happy where I'm at.
Well, see, you know what's funny though about all of that I realized like a couple weeks ago. So like while y'all were working out and getting like legit shredded, y'all were like doing weightlifting and stuff like that. I was doing sheet metal, getting yoked without actually working out or doing any of the protein. So it's funny that it coincides that y'all were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, actually use weights and stuff like that. I'm like, I'll do it the old fashioned way. Some manual labor. Cause like, dude, I look at those pictures, my chest was bigger, my traps were bigger. Like, and I'm like, I did not realize how big I actually was getting. Like, I wasn't huge, but I was definitely decently big.
So, like, the other thing, too, that's weird is that, like I didn't realize how small I got. So, random people were calling me scrawny. Like, people at restaurants would be like, hey, you're scrawny. And I'm like, what? So, like, until I started looking at photos, I'm like, dude, I'm scrawny. My face is getting round. My chest is sagging, all this stuff. But it is crazy when you start working out, you get into that body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember before I started working out, I always thought I had a chest. And then once I started working out, I'm like, what did I think a chest was? And then, like, people you used to think were shredded are not. It's just this weird thing, like,
yeah.
You look at old photos.
Level.
When you look at old photos of celebrities in movies that you used to think were, like, jacked, you're like, that guy doesn't even look like he works out. You're like, I'm bigger than that guy.
Bro, that's just how it kind of goes, though. That's how I look at it. Like, I was looking, like, the one thing, though, I'll say that stays no matter what, though, for me, the calves, bro. I feel like calves.
You've always had calves.
Dude, that's just it, though. Like, I am convinced that calves are like 95% genetic. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You either got them or you don't.
I think everybody has something, because even when I quit working out for like 3 years or whatever, my chest was still somewhat there, but everything else, my back disappeared like completely, and everything else. So like your calves have always been like that.
Yeah, the calves are the default, dude. Like, cause like I remember high school though. I definitely know they were bigger in high school when I was running and everything like that. I know they were bigger. They were more toned. But now they've gotten, like, that layer of fat around them just a little bit. And I'm like, okay, they're not as defined as they used to be, but they're still, like, that core muscle is there. I just haven't trimmed away to sculpt it.
Dude. Really, though, if you're thinking about getting into working out, you should. I think you and Q, great partners to work out together. Yeah, you need somebody to start. You need somebody to at least get the ball rolling. But once you get deep in the iceberg, you start going solo. But at least get the ball rolling.
Well,
dude.
see, that's what I'm saying. Just I need that ball rolling with someone who can teach me a bunch of different workouts and shit that I haven't experienced before. And then once I get rolling into them, it's like, okay, Quentin wants to skip the gym. All right, let him skip. I can just go myself. Like, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Because, like, y'all have the experience. Y'all went through that initial stage of looking like an idiot and not kind of knowing exactly what you were doing, and you figured it out. Yep. So for me, it's like, all right, I got to find someone to go through that with.
I think another thing, too, do it. There you go. There's a little...
I mean, bro, I'm
lifting partnership right there.
For me, it's just thinking about, like, okay, when do I have the time? Because that's another thing. Our schedules are so opposite each other.
The morning.
Oh, dude, I could not.
Cool. Y'all have fun with that.
Yeah, morning.
I did the morning for the first 3 to 5 months. I accepted my afternoon.
See, for me, I'd prefer to work out in the evening if I'm going to work out. Because, like, now I've got the time to do it in the evening. Because, like, I get off at 7, get home by 8. Let's say you're in Hillsboro, you get home by 9. But that's the thing, though. Gyms aren't open like they used to be. So it's like...
Dude, I go to any time. 24 hour.
Where the hell is there
any time
around here?
It's right by your house, actually. Or not right by, but it's fairly close.
It's probably an 8-minute drive through town.
Yeah.
Right,
Across the Sonic and Wells Fargo.
How much the membership
by
cost
that
you?
big-ass high school.
How much it cost you?
I think it's like $40 a month.
Jesus. All right. I mean, I could get past that. Like 40
But,
bucks
I
a
mean,
month.
dude, you can go to any time in America any time for $40.
Because you know me, I like to go everywhere. I'm a travel.
Well, for me, it's convenient, bro. Hillsboro, Burleson, sometimes in different places.
I mean,
I don't know.
That makes sense for you, but like, from what like everything I've heard, dude, where I'm at, like Midlothian and stuff like that, dude, I think there's like one gym, and like from what my coworker said, he's like, yeah, it's not a good gym. He's like, I'm finishing out like my 1 month that I already paid for, and then I'm going back to my other gym.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm saying go with the anytime. And here's the other thing too. You're starting out. So like what Q and I see as a good gym is completely different. You know what I mean? So like you can still, like, I can take any gym and get a decent workout in, but I know the difference between a good gym and a bad gym.
All right, so
but even if it's a bad gym, I'm going to be like, I'm going to go.
All right,
I'm going to get my, whatever.
Let's go through it. What do you consider a good gym? Like, what do you consider bad and like red flags for you? And what do you consider the green lights?
I think when I say good or bad, I think specifically it's personal of what I want. If I have a gym where I can't do what I want to do, the workouts I want to do, to me, that's a bad gym, but I have to have the sacrifice of, do I pay more and when am I going to go, whatever the case may be. So I go to Planet Fitness right now, which I was opposed to for years because it was like you're a hippie if you go there. You don't actually lift if you go there, right? Well, anyway, I went because it's cheap, and I was like, dude, what? Again, I got over the whole caring what other people think thing. And while I like it, it's okay. The dumbbells only go up to 60, which to me is not good. I can't deadlift. Deadlift is literally my most favorite workout ever. Like, there is nothing more satisfying than a solid deadlift. Like, dude, that is the greatest feeling ever, progressing in deadlift. I can't do it there. So while I'm like, this isn't my favorite gym, it fits my schedule, fits my budget, and at another time I'll get a gym that has a deadlift, right? If you have deadlift, squat, bench, a place to do pull-ups, and like if you have a belt for weighted chin-ups, solid gym. I know they're serious. I know I can get the lifts I want in.
See, that's just
what about you, Q?
I feel like deadlifts are just a struggle. You're not supposed to do them. As Quentin knows himself,
dude.
Like, you got to do them right. That's the problem.
Dude. I don't do them no more, bro. I just gave up. They fucked me up twice.
See, I never got hurt doing a deadlift. And that's the thing. I know how to do it properly.
You do it
and number two, I read something when I first started, and it stuck with me forever. And it's complete, like just a correlation of bro science. But Ziz said it, dude. Ziz said it. He said, I deadlift. And he said, how many people in your gym deadlift and how many of them have impressive physiques? Put 2 and 2 together. I was sold, dude. And I was like, and it's still true to this day, bro. Like, if you deadlift, it's like almost your entire body. So like
that's true. That's true.
See, don't get me wrong.
Body being worked out.
But like I told Quint when he was doing deadlifts, I was like, bro, be careful with them. Make sure you do it right. Because if you do it wrong, you'll find out. And he did it wrong, and he found out. So it's like one of those things. Like, I feel like deadlift to me, risk outweighs the reward. Like, I feel like it's like, because you have that ample like workout thing where you're like, bro, I want to do more weight. Come on, when can I move up in weight? Like, when am I ready? When am I ready? And as you move up
replaced it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you can do like bent over rows. You can do seated rows. You can do like all that kind of stuff for your lower back, and then you can still do squats or leg press. I haven't been to the gym though since December 22nd. Fat.
So you need to go.
Fat,
dude.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. As a beginner, I would never recommend a beginner to deadlift because, again, you have to know how to do it properly. But I would maybe a Hex Bar Deadlift Hex Bar Deadlift, super safe. Very hard to mess up.
Is that the one? Is that the one that's like
you
right
get inside the bar? Yeah, it's shaped like a hex, and you get inside the bar.
Yeah.
That one.
Those are pretty
safe.
cool.
Yeah, super safe. Just you do less weight, but it's hard to mess up. So, yeah, man, I think
you can dude. Yeah.
Bro, when was the one time you took me to iFit, Quentin? Do you remember that? When you were actually like working out and everything, and you're like, "Come on, go to the gym with me." I was like, "All right." You brought me, and I did all the same weight as you. Dude, I don't know if I ever told you this, bro, but the next day I was dying, dude. I went to so you know how the cabinets of my house back then were high up? Dude, I was reaching for the peanut butter jar. My arm was just shaking the whole time. And I was like, this sucks, dude.
Dude, when Q and I first started working out in college, it was the most horrible experience, dude. Like that, like we went hard because you can go, when you're new, you can do anything. It's weird. I remember, dude, when I took a dump in the bathroom, bro. I had to grab the stall walls to lift myself up off the seat,
fucking
dude.
fall, dude.
My back was trembling. My legs were trembling. Like, dude, I was like, that was the worst. But then, you know what I mean? I was like, I have to get this over with. But that was the most wrecked I've ever been, because when I got back into it this time, I did like 3 exercises. And the next day I did like 4, and then the next day I did like 6, and I tapped out at 6, you know what I mean? Like I didn't go balls to the wall, ruin it.
No, dude, what was funny to me,
you feel
though,
the progression, you're like, all right.
Is I was stunting on Quentin. He was like, dude, dang, you're still pretty strong, man. You still got it. And I'm like, yeah, I still got it. Next day, and I'm like, I don't have it anymore. This was a terrible idea. But that was also that was after I had gotten out of sheet metal. That was about like a year into phone sales for me.
And that's like the funny thing about a partner is like I mean, as guys working out together, I mean, I guess even chicks too, but like that ego does come into play.
Oh, dude.
If he's doing 90, I'm gonna try 90. You do 120? Yeah. I'm gonna try 120. What's up?
To be honest with you, it was more just laziness for me of like, I'm not trying to figure out how much weight I should be doing. I just got it. I'll figure it out. Like, it was just that man, like, ignorance of like, I ain't figuring out how to move the weights. It ain't too heavy. I got it. And then afterwards, it was like, oh, you should have done that.
I remember with Devin, you would push me with back, and I would try to push you with chest. Or sometimes you would push me with chest because you could do a lot with dips. You would always add like the weighted belt. But I would have never tried the weighted belt on pull-ups or the times I did do deadlifts successfully or anything like that. Because I'm like, well, okay, Devin's doing it.
Well, dude,
that's the same thing.
That's what's dangerous about me and Quentin being workout partners, bro. It's like we were in high school and we were like, yeah, hey, I was running every day, and Quentin's like, yeah, man, I want to run with you. Like me running, I'm like, okay, I'm pushing it, but it's more about just getting the distance and getting the calories. And Quentin's like, oh no, we're sprinting this. And I'm like, dude, why is he sprinting? I got to catch up. I can't look like an idiot. I've been running the whole time. And I'm sprinting, like, after him, and I'm finally passing him. And then, like, as soon as he goes, oh, I still got, like, 20% still left in the tank, and just floors it. So, like, by the end of it, we sprinted, like, a whole 2 miles. He was like, dude, well, I was really struggling to keep up. And it's like, bro, you're the reason I had to go so fast. I couldn't look like an idiot.
Dude, I mean, but yeah, like, and that's the other thing, because as a good partner, like, aside from the ego, you actually do have like a healthy push to each other, like you said, like, because Q passed me up on dumbbell bench, but he never passed me up on back, which was so funny because I thought I had the advantage on chest, and I thought he had the advantage on back. It actually ended up being completely opposite. It was so crazy. Yeah, I was doing weighted chin-ups, like I was hanging a 35 from a belt doing pull-ups, which is like, I bet I could try again now, because I did 10 pull-ups just earlier. Like, I didn't do a warm-up set. I just went straight to 10, and I was like, okay, I can do that now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think my thing, though, with working out, though, too, is like, dude, I'm not going to get into the buying protein and everything like that, or trying to eat clean.
You think that?
We'll have to figure it out, dude. I'm definitely down to start, though.
So it's good to have the idea of starting, and it's good to start. But I'll tell you, you think that, and then you're going to be like, dude, I'm busting my butt. I want to get better results. What do I got to do to take it to the next level?
Yeah.
Boom. So you're going to start changing your diet, and you're going to start taking protein at least.
And you're going to start watching, like, how many hours you sleep at night, how much water you drink, if you're taking a shit every day. Like,
dude, you know what's funny about that, Q? You know what's funny about that, Q, is that I didn't worry about my sleep or my water or my caffeine until now when I wanted the clearest mind possible. When I was working out, I just made sure to sleep. That's like, and it's so funny you bring that up, but that's true. Like sleep, dude, sleep is so important. It's insane.
Dude, I used to think about that when we were like really into it. If I went to bed at a certain time, I was like, I'm not going to wake up till a certain time because I want to get my sleep, bro. Like, that's what repairs this stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
Jeff Bezos.
You do start caring about it.
Hey, Jeff Bezos prioritizes his sleep.
Well,
he's
dude,
like, I got to get my 8 hours.
I feel like it's anything, though, bro. Like, I mean, I've talked to you about work of like, dude, if I don't get the right amount of sleep, I go in groggy and I have a terrible performance that day. I have to get my sleep. If I don't get my sleep the next day, I'm not doing my job. It just doesn't end well for me.
Yep. No, agreed 100%, man. I mean, I accidentally took a nap yesterday and then I woke up at like 9. So I took like some CBD gummies to get back to sleep, but I ended up working for like 2 hours. Like I did, so here's the weird thing. Okay. So the sleep energizes you and it gives you clear mind, but you have to use it. So I was like, all right, I have plenty of energy, and I edited a video and then I watched another one I made and I was like, this is not good at all. So I was sitting there and I was like, I'm still not tired. So usually 1 to 2 gummies knocks me out. I had 4 and I was still going. I was like, oh my gosh. So I was sitting there, I was looking, I was like, bro, I'm gonna bust out another video. So I plugged my mic in, reshot the video, 1 take, and I was like, that was way better. And then I was like, you know what, time to go to bed. Then it was like 11:45. And I woke up today feeling great because I got an additional 6 hours in. But it's like you have the energy, but when you test yourself to use it, you'll see how effective that energy was. When you challenge yourself, you'll be like, okay, I am thinking clearly. Because you're like, how clear is clear? Am I supposed to see through walls?
Like, bro, so I can't take CBD anymore. So so I me and my girl were taking CBD. She'd take 1 whole one, I'd take half of one, and that was working fine. I'd get some good sleep. It didn't bother me at all. Easier to fall asleep. But I was like, okay, I mean, I'm not really tired, so I'll take a full one. I took a full one, dude. Room started spinning. I got really dizzy, really nauseous, which I looked into. It can be a side effect of taking too much CBD. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, if 1 whole gummy is enough to make me feel like that, I'm like, probably not a good idea for me to do that. Maybe that's my body trying to tell me like, hey, bro, you don't need this.
Or what was the milligram on it? Yeah. Maybe you jumped into the deep end without knowing it. Because mine are relatively low, and I don't use them. Like me eating them last night, I haven't touched them in probably 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, dude, I can't be up till 3. I have to freaking work tomorrow, and I'm not going to work on 3 hours of sleep. So.
Yeah. Definitely not. Fielding phone calls, being in meetings and stuff, not worth it.
Yeah, driving and then taking calls while driving and then getting there and having to be effective too. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so, bro, so me and Victoria got a vacation planned.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, we're up there sometime.
Colorado.
Nah, actually.
After you just said no CBD.
Actually, the opposite direction, dude. So we're thinking about going to Atlanta, Georgia.
Mexico? Oh.
Why would I go to Mexico, bro?
I was thinking that's always the opposite.
Dude. Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, why Georgia?
So,
Why Atlanta?
we were looking up vacations and stuff like that, and she was upset by the fact that like there's no longer pandas in California or something like that. Like the lease ran out on them. They didn't get to really renew the lease on the pandas in there. I'm like,
sorry, you're gonna have to give us our pandas back,
dude. No, so it's actually a funny thing. The U.S. and every other country does not own a single panda. We lease them from China. China owns every single panda that is out there.
Why does that make so much sense?
Aren't they about to go extinct?
No, they're not extinct. Obviously, they're not extinct if you can still see them in
No, I said, aren't they about to?
They're close.
Like endangered?
Yes, they are like heavily
endangered.
Because they just can't get them to breed. Like, they're not doing well in nature. Yeah. They won't breed. I think like a bunch of animals we were having trouble breeding whenever the pandemic first hit. A lot of them actually started conceiving and stuff like that. So it's weird to think like humans being around in that environment can cause a problem with them not wanting to conceive. So it kind of makes you think like, does the animal instinctively know of like, I don't want to bring a child into this.
I think they do know that because it's animal instinct, but also like I'm picturing like us in a cage with like a bunch of gorillas watching us, and I'm like, I don't really want to get it on right now. These gorillas are kind of staring at us.
I don't know, bro. I mean, I don't care if the gorillas.
At some point, you're gonna say, "Forget it."
Yeah, I'm just getting after it.
I don't care who's watching. Tell me how it is.
Mm-hmm. Tell me if my form's good.
I've seen some monkeys get after it.
Dude, yeah.
But yeah, we're thinking about
hairless
going to
monkeys.
Atlanta. And then, like, we're trying to think of other things to do in Atlanta, but I think we're also, like, when we're in Atlanta, on the way back, we're going to probably swing down to Savannah, Georgia, and do, like, a haunted tour or something like that, because apparently it's, like, one of the most haunted cities in the U.S., so I'm like, that'll be fun.
Please tell me this is a week we don't have D&D.
We haven't set a week. We know we want to do it in the summer sometime. But.
No, dude, that'd be freaking awesome. You'll do a haunted tour. I'm not into haunted stuff, but y'all have fun. Tell me how it goes.
See, that's just it for me. Is
do
like
a live podcast.
I'm not big on haunted tours and stuff like that. I'm just like, I know she'll enjoy it, but for me, like, oh, this is haunted. Like, it's not haunted. No, it's not. I'm like, okay, just tell me the history of this place, because you know it's got to be something wild.
We could have a heavy debate about that if it's haunted or not.
Wait, you believe in ghosts and stuff like that?
Hell yes. Yep,
dude,
absolutely.
I just don't. There's not enough evidence. That's my problem.
There's like unexplainable vibes though that you can feel sometimes.
But unexplainable vibes, like, you know what I mean? It's
energies or something.
But there's no scientific way to measure that energy is my problem. Like, there's no way to show me. You know what I mean?
What if that's the fifth dimension, though? Because, like, there was an article I just saw today. It was like, scientists do believe the fifth dimension is real from a paper published in, like, 99. And then there's also saying like dreams are a view of another universe. But I don't know. Like, I know what you mean. Like the weird energies you can feel when you go in bad places. Part of that is like, okay, what if that's just your animal instinct? Like this place isn't safe and it's trying to tell you to leave. But then what if it is a different sense? But what if it is a different sense? Like it is there is some type of energy there because we all have the same energy that pulls us towards what we want to do. Mm-hmm. We all have the same energy that tells us when we're acting incongruent. So, like, what does it say? It's not, like, some type of paranormal. I don't know, dude.
Well, that's just it. Like, that's my problem is it's
like intuition.
I mean, that's just it. It can be explained by just, like, your body telling you, hey, you're going to die here, like you were saying. Like, that makes sense. Like, but, like, even then, it's like you can't – there's no way to, like, measure it. Like, you can't walk into a room and be like, okay, this room feels really, really off, and then just – pull out a meter and it's like, yep, definitely haunted. Like there's no way to measure it, and that's my problem.
No, I mean I agree with you on that. Yeah,
like but I understand what you're saying.
What if get some weird vibe?
Hold on, what if some people are more in tune? what is some people, it's kind of like an intellect thing or an insight thing. It's like some people are like, we don't need to be here. And the other people are tuned out. They're like, what do you mean? It looks safe to me. Does this look dangerous to you, SpongeBob?
The hook in his mouth. That's true. Jesse, bro, if you walk.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's like no different than like when you can walk into a room and you can feel the tension because people are arguing, or like you can read their body posture. But even then, like you have something to actually go off that you can measure, like the tension in the room. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can measure
like
that
if you
more
walked
than
in
I
a
just
room
have
where
a
someone
bad
was
vibe.
killed at.
But you can't measure tension either with a meter. You just see it. So what if it's the stuff you can't see? Because some people are emotionally, like they're socially dumb. Like that room you walk into, you're like, okay, it's probably awkward. You shouldn't be in here right now. Someone else was like, what do you mean? I don't see a problem here. Like, so some people are just socially and emotionally stupid. That's why they call it emotional intelligence. So like, what if it is that?
But even then, that doesn't explain.
That's a very good point.
That doesn't explain like ghosts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like when there's tension in a room, even though you're saying like, oh yeah, maybe it just has to do with like your natural body being in tune with it and not being socially stupid. You can read the tension, but you have something providing you that tension and why it's there. Like you can explain that. Whereas like when I feel like it's like, dude, I feel like most places you walk into, if it was haunted and you had no idea it was haunted, you wouldn't notice anything off. You just be like, oh, it's just a house.
Like if they didn't tell you prior.
Yeah.
Because like that's just it. Like I mean, even being in like this house from time to time, like dude, there's uncomfortable noises, strange sounds, and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's a little weird. But I'm not like, oh yeah, this is haunted. I'm just like, yeah, it's a house. It makes noises. It's what it does.
That's true. See, I get weird feelings sometimes in this room, in the cave, and it's always like in the same corner over there.
I don't know. Maybe you just had a traumatic childhood experience in that corner.
It's in my brother's old room. I don't know what.
You don't know what he used to do in that corner, bro.
Is it? And that's the thing. Is it weird, or is it because you think it's weird?
True.
Wait, is it is it the corner where his computer used to sit?
No, his computer sits right here where I'm sitting. It's like the corner where he had his DVDs at.
I don't know why you find that strange. I mean, I guess it makes sense, though. Maybe it's just like a subconscious thing.
Dude, the weirdest thing was one time when I was walking in to my kitchen at nighttime, and when I got it was when we had the carpet still. I was in the carpet, and it was like right before you get to the tile. And I was like, like halfway awake. I was like going to get a drink or something. And I just got like this instinctive feeling, like you say, animal instincts, dude. And I just like stopped and looked up. I couldn't really see anything, but in my mind, it was telling me like, there's something right there in front of you. My adrenaline shot up and my heart just started beating. And like, I was just like looking at nothing, but it felt like there was something. And I was like, I need to go back to my room. And I just like backed up and went back to sleep. Like, that was the only time I've ever felt. I was like, what the hell was that?
Well, I mean, that's just it. Like, I mean, I experienced things as a child. Like, when I was younger, we had, like, some friend, like, I forget who it was. It was, like, some family friend with me and my brother. And they had a kid my age and a kid his age. And we had, like, this, like, plastic trash can. It must have been a toy or some point. But you lock the lid on top of it. Like, you press it down and it just clasps it. And if you wanted it off, you had to pry out the edges. And that's where we used to throw, like, the big Legos where you could make huge towers and stuff with them. So we'd throw them in that. And we clasped it down, left, went to go eat or something. And when we came back, before anyone had entered the room, and as we opened the door and flipped the light on and was about to go in, at that point the lid came off, spun in the air, and then went and landed on the ground. Like, for me, to this day, I'm like, was I just a kid? And like maybe they were playing a joke on me and I just didn't realize it. But I asked my brother and he's like, no, I don't remember that ever happening. I'm like, was my
Could
imagination
be like
just
a false
messing with
memory.
me? Yeah, that's like my thought
Yeah.
on it. But like I remember it so distinctly that I'm like, was it real? Like, did that really happen? Or am I just going crazy? Am I lying to myself? But like that's
I
just
don't
it.
know.
Like, I mean, I've experienced weird things, but even then I can chalk it up to like, it's probably a false memory, or I was a kid. Maybe I just didn't notice what really happened to it.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I still can't chalk it up to like ghosts are real. It just doesn't it doesn't make sense to me why they would still be here.
I just don't get why I would have like an animal instinct in my own home.
I mean,
Like, because I remember that like when I was a teenager. I was probably like 17 or 18. I just don't. Why would I get that feeling of fear inside of a place where you're safest? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like chilling, and it just hits.
I mean,
Like,
I had something
there's
like
definitely
that.
something in front of me that I should not go forward to.
Dude, and I had that when I was like 16 or so. I believe I was 16. Yeah, I was 16. I didn't want to go in my own room one morning. Like, I just felt like there was something there. It's my own room. I sleep in. It's been 90% of my time in as a teenager, right? And like, I was like, there's some type of energy in here right in the middle of this room that I don't want to walk into. I don't want to walk through. It feels like it was scary. Thing is, I had to bite the bullet and do it because I had to get ready for school. I had to walk through it and get my clothes and everything because I came out of the shower or whatever. But I was just like, why is this telling me never before? Like, same to you. Like, What is this? Is it just like a malfunction? Is it like a glitch? Because your phone glitches, your computer glitches, or like, or is it something there?
Well, see, that's just it.
Why do we remember it so vividly?
I don't feel like I feel like it could
Bro.
just be your brain falsifying information to you, or it can be like some sort of anxiety
It feels
or
like your
something built up.
intuition.
Well, it's like, okay, so let me okay, how often have you watched like a scary movie by yourself? Like a legit,
I know what you mean. I know where you're going with this.
You start getting paranoid. Like, even though you know nothing's there, you're like, I'm going to check over my shoulder. Like anything like that, you get that paranoia. So it's like, could it have been like some repressed anxiety or something that you just didn't register, and that's how your body was trying to manifest it? Like, for you could have been tired and just not realized it, and your body was trying to tell you, like, bro, go to sleep, stop doing stuff, go back to your room. By the time you went back to your room, your body was like, all right, cool, we can relax now. And then for Devin, how do we know it wasn't something like had a test for school or had to have a conversation with someone, something that made him anxious? So it was his body subconsciously trying to tell him and feed him anxiety of like, don't go, bro, don't go. If you don't go into that room, you don't go to school today, you don't have that conversation. But it's so many levels removed, maybe you just don't realize it.
Yeah, I mean,
because like,
oh man,
have you ever seen like shadow figures in like the corner of your eye where you could swear you saw a shadow that moved?
Dude, I saw like a monkey half dog run across my grandmother's house one day, and I was like, that was not real.
So yeah,
there's no freaking way that was real. And it was the middle of the night, and I saw something run across the middle of the house, and I was like, I'm praying that didn't actually happen. I'm just going to go to my room. Like, whatever this beast is, I'm just not going to deal with it.
See, that's just it. Most of that stuff, like shadows in the corner of your eyes and stuff like that, can be explained from extreme stress and extreme sleep deprivation. So, like, if you stay up longer, you start noticing those shadows more, like, because it's your eyes kind of turning itself off without realizing it.
So sleep is a conspiracy, because if we don't sleep, we connect to the shadow realm, and the lizard people don't want that.
Okay, then explain how
you can see what's actually going on.
So there are people who are legitimately scared to go to sleep, to the point that like they will not go to sleep. Why? And they will stay up like days, months. Those people end up dying because of that. So it's like, is it connecting, or is it your body trying to tell you, like, just like if you were to run a car engine like 24/7, like, dude, you are going to destroy that thing. I wonder if it's your body just telling you, like, hey, bud, you're wrecking the system right now.
Yeah, you're just disillusioned. Yeah, you're just like, your body's like, oh, I think there's something there. Mm-hmm. And it's the same as when you get little sleep and you have to solve a problem, and you're like, you just blank. You're like, you just keep repeating the problem over and over and over, and you're like, how come no answer's coming?
Oh,
I
dude,
don't
so
get it.
my favorite like question post that they do, like one of my favorite experiments, it's used to measure like cults and stuff like that, and you'll see it explained in a lot of cult sciences, is like the fact that if you're in a room, like let's say like all 4 of us are in a room, or like we have 4 people with us, and we have that one guy, he's supposed to answer honestly, but we're supposed to answer first question correct, couple questions correct, and then after that, as a group, we pick the wrong answer on purpose. That person in most cases will pick that wrong answer knowing that it's wrong, but because it's a group thing, because he doesn't want to be ostracized by the rest of the group even if he knows it's wrong. Like, I love that experiment.
Yeah, it's like a social like just gonna follow the crowd.
So it's funny you say like the groupthink thing. So I was thinking about this at the park the other day. When Atlas plays at the park, I have plenty of time to think. But anyway, like, I was thinking about like identifying with groupthink, like, and how, like, you know, like, because I in a lot of my videos, I'm like, don't identify with this, don't identify with material. I started thinking, and I'm like, man, like, don't identify with this, don't identify with that, identify with yourself and what you want to be. But then I'm like thinking, I'm like, okay, if you identify with groupthink, like, that can lead you to trouble because you start agreeing with the group for the sake of being in the group, like you said. But then what I'm thinking is, because the duality of everything, I'm like, okay, people think groupthink is dumb. That means there's a group of people who don't like groupthink, and they're in a groupthink of like, we don't identify with groupthink in this group. So now we're also in a groupthink of we don't do groupthink, but we're in that groupthink of not identifying with groupthink. So I'm like, it's the same. It's just, it's the yin and the yang again, of that there would be no non-groupthink without groupthink. There would be no bad people without the good people, and the good people love the bad people all the same.
Yeah.
I was like,
never-ending
sure.
snake eating
It's
its
infinite.
tail.
Well, that's just
It's
it. Like,
infinite,
you
yeah.
work yourself into like a paradox on it of like, it's infinite. It's gonna go forever. It's like the number of infinity. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's a higher number? Like, you can think of the biggest number in your head, but always know that there's a number bigger. You know what I mean? So you just kind of get in that loop of infinity.
Existence is infinity.
I mean, just
it's an infinite loop problem. It's an infinite loop, what do they call it? Infinite loop top deck, right? Like, or whatever you want to call it. It's like, it is. It's like there is always a duality to everything, and it's like, oh man, I'm like, so even though I'm not trying not to identify with groupthink, I'm in the group of people that thinks that's dumb. So
well, like, that's just it though too. I think that there's benefits to group, and there's definitely cons to it, and I think it's the same thing with everything. You got to do everything in moderation. Like, you can drink too much water to the point that you drown yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Well, anything too much for you is bad for you. Like, I think a group, like, talking to a group is always a good idea. Like, if I were to bring an idea up to y'all as a group, like, that's a good thing. But if we all start hanging out too much and stuff like that, we're all going to start thinking alike, regardless of whether it's wrong or right. So there's no individuality. So I think you have to take it as, like, groups are good, but in moderation, just like everything else.
I think, like, yeah, well, I think, like, to the extent that you need, like, you definitely need feedback, you definitely need criticism, you definitely need someone to bounce your ideas off of. But I think, to the sense that, again, even you said moderation, everybody has a different view on moderation.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think also as you mature and as you kind of become to be your own person, I think some of the groupthink fades away, and there's still going to be some things that all 3 of us disagree about forever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. You can have a healthy disagreement and be like, no, I just view it differently, next topic, or whatever the case may be. Like, I view this, or if we're just going to argue forever, which is fine, but it's a healthy argument because, like, we're still friends. We don't hate each other.
That's just it, though. Like, in our friend group, honestly, I can't think of one thing I fully disagree with y'all with. Like, just, like, trying to think about it right now, like, I can't think of anything I full-on disagree with, or we don't kind of have, like, oh, it could be that, but it could be either or. Like, I can't think of one where it's, like, dead set, you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if we're dead set on anything
for a while.
I think it's more of, like, a smaller, like, a different view.
Yeah. I think, like, the only thing me and Quentin disagreed on was, like, we disagreed about a couple things with Bernie. Like, you loved everything about Bernie, and I definitely had a few gripes with him, but that's the only thing I can think about that we disagreed with.
Yeah, I mean, my views have changed since then.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny is, like, it does have to count. I think the easiest one, though, the politics and the religion. Like, there's some people that, you know, I'm great friends with, that are religious, you know, and I'm not, you know, but we just don't talk about it. We just agreed to not talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Dude,
you know, I mean, we can still be best friends.
It's funny to me because I get asked that stuff all the time. Like coworkers definitely ask me, like, what my thought processes are, and it's like, dude, I just don't believe any of it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's even, I have family members that are hyper-religious. We just don't talk about it. We love each other. You know, like, it's just, we just don't talk about it.
Dude, same with my family. I have family members that are pretty religious as well. And I'm just like, no, not at all. Like, I've had a couple, like, it's been a long time since they've asked me, but, like, when I was starting to be like, yeah, no, just not for me. Like, they've talked to me about it, but after that, they've dropped it. Now that I'm an adult, I guess they just understand to respect my opinion on it, and that it's just not something we need to discuss.
Yeah.
And I think also to the effect it makes we accept each other more because it's like, okay, we can disagree on this and, like, still just be people to each other. Like, I think that makes it better. It almost makes you closer in a way. To me, it, like, makes us closer because I'm like, there's not that barrier where I have to fake it and you have to fake not being it or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that makes it better if you have healthy disagreements, you know, even in a relationship. You know, two different beliefs. I mean, there's some you can't have, but, like, just to the extent of, like, yeah, man, like, we're two different people, but, like, we peanut butter and jelly it as much as we can.
I mean, I guess to a degree, but my thing is, like, like, y'all know me, I enjoy talking about science and stuff like that. I enjoy learning new scientific fact. I find it hard to have those conversations with people. Because, like, dude, if we can't even agree that, like, the universe is, you know, millions and millions and millions of years old, and you still think it's, like, a 4,000-year-old Earth, it's like, we're not going to agree on anything with science. Like, I can't talk science about you, and that's one of the things I love.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from there.
I mean, it's.
But then there's people that believe both, like, that, I guess, like, believe in science and have their spirituality. Like Tyler, you know, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know.
That's just it. Like, the Catholic Church funds a whole division of, I forget what they're called now. It's been a long time since I've thought about it. But they have a subsect of, like, priests and stuff like that, and, like, scientists that work and help with the science community. And their argument is, we're not trying to disprove science or anything like that. We're just trying to understand how complex this universe is and all the work that's in it. That clear, like, to them, they're like, you can look at how complex the atom and everything like that, and to them, that's the proof of God. Of, like, there's no way that happened by random chance. Something had to design it. And for them, it's a proof of God.
That's what Tyler's explanation was, the Drake theory.
Yep.
But see, I think that's interesting. I was watching a video the other day. It was talking about Isaac Newton discovering gravity, and talking about how before he even did that, that all, like, science that was taught was still based off of, like, philosophy, basically. Like, it wasn't even called science. It was all based off Aristotle and stuff like that. Like, it was just philosophy. Like, that's all it was. Like, science wasn't science. I don't know.
I think, like, the other thing too, like, with the Catholic thing you bring up, like, the newest pope they have, which he's been there for a minute now, like, pushes the envelope forward. Like, he's, like, accepting of you know, gay marriage and stuff, and it's like, it's so funny that it's like, well, that's what the Pope said, so we kind of have to roll with it, like, because he's like a communicator to the next level.
Yeah, I feel like
what he say goes.
It shows his influence is what it is. Like same thing. I think like he's been a great thing for like the Catholic Church, like all together. Like he's like no, like he to me he's one of those people that I'm like he must really actually read the Bible and care to a degree, because like for a longest time it was like, oh, the Catholic Church doesn't accept gays, we hate them, and he's like, no, have you not been reading the same book as me? Like, no, that's not how that works. You love everybody regardless of whether they're a sinner or not.
And that's what makes me think like for some parts, like some of the stuff that he's like got viral for, to a sense, is like, I'm like, is he just like an undercover troll and he just wants to see how far he can push it, or he's just like a normal person that's like, this is just what makes sense to me, and we accept it because of his title, and then like it almost goes back to groupthink,
Yeah, I think it just kind of
breaks. I think it's more that.
I think he breaks the mold a little bit and likes to push the envelope. Like I think it's crazy to me that he was like, if aliens are real, yes, the Catholic Church would accept them. It's like the church is open to anyone and everyone. And like for me, it was like, dude, all it does is it's confirming my theory that in the next like 10, 20 years, we're going to get revealed that aliens are real and that there is intelligent life out there. It's like, why the hell would the Pope be thinking about that? Like, who poses that question to the Pope? And he's like, yeah, that's actually a good, serious answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I
that's the one he wants to answer.
Well, I'm pretty sure like that's eventually what we're gonna come into. Is like, yeah, no, aliens are real. And it's like, okay, well, we definitely can't have.
But for the church,
we can't have religious sects get shattered down. So they're like, yeah, no, we'd accept it. And it's like, yeah, but doesn't your book say that we're 100% unique and we're the only of our being? And I mean, we get stuff wrong all the time.
What I think's funny is like for the church, they're like, that's just more members. Why not? Like that's how they need to view it. Like they're like, we can convert the alien.
Dude, it's like the same argument of what's the difference between a church and a cult, right? Marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing and then
I think
members.
usually with a cult, there's a group death.
Usually, but like
there's a small difference.
Well, that's just it. I mean, like, when you really think about it, what's the difference between a cult and a religion? It literally just comes down to members. That's about it. Like, as long as like Scientology, like, let's be honest, like Scientology and what it does for some people is amazing. Now, granted, like, it can be really, really bad for you if you go against them, which makes it seem like a cult. But people, like, they got established as a religion. Why? Because of how much money, power, and people they have. It comes down to just influence.
Dude, I was watching his documentary.
Which,
the Scientology documentary.
Yeah, was it Going Clear?
Well, not specifically his. It's, I can't think of the name of it. It's on HBO Max, so you all have it.
Was it Lawrence Wright, Going Clear? Let me see what's on HBO Max real quick.
Going Clear.
Keep talking.
Going Clear.
Yeah. That's Lawrence Wright. I read the book he wrote on it.
So, like, I was curious, like, how do you get a following like that? Like, how, because, like, that's anyone in history, like, to have a certain level of influence like that. Because, like, I pride myself on being as transparent as I can be. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I feel like that should grow to a great following. You know what I mean? But like, as you watch the documentary, he is just like the con man's con man. Like skips town, doesn't pay people back, just keeps. As soon as he gets a bunch of members and he starts making a bunch of money, it's a tier system. Scientology is a tier system, and you have to pay money to get to the next tier. I'm like, oh my God, this guy made a membership program, and if you want to get to the higher levels, like. I can't remember they're numerical, but basically the highest level is you got to pay more money. You have to get closer, more exposure to L. Ron Hubbard.
No.
And he appoints certain people. Like it's a tier system. It's a business. It's completely a business.
Yeah, bro. So if you haven't listened to the podcast Joe Rogan did with Leah Remini and what is his name? Miscavige. I can't think of his first name. But he did it like because Joe was on a Scientology kick when like that documentary and everything had released. He read the book and everything. It's actually really interesting hearing their stories and stuff like that. Because like you find out the guy's like son literally had him followed by like private eyes from the Church of Scientology, and he literally had a like heart attack. Those members called his son and was like, do you want us to save him? And he's like, nope, let him die. I was like, whoa, it's pretty grim. And then he talks about the fact too of like the only reason he found out like how ridiculous Scientology was is he was given an iPad as a gift, and they didn't properly lock it down. Like I'm telling you, bro, it's super interesting. I remember those were two of my favorite podcasts. I've listened to them like 2 or 3 times. They're super interesting.
Yeah, like it is crazy. Like watching the people how they get bought in, and it's just the scammiest thing, you know. Like they're like, you have to hold these metal cans, and we're gonna read your theatin levels or theanine levels or whatever it's called, T levels, like. Basically, but
yeah, your thetans.
It's like, oh yeah, we got to help you. It's like a consultation, and then like, oh, you got to join in. It's going to cost this much. I'm like, this is a whole consulting sales pitch. It's like,
well, they also market
and then what they believe is, well, and here's the thing, like, yes, it's predicated on self-help, and like, and things like that bother me because I want to be in that path, and it's like there's so many people that muddy it up, but it is predicated on self-help, and they sell you a dream, they sell you a transformation, you know, but the things they think, the things they buy into is like, there's alien spirits within them that were frozen in a volcano, and hydrogen bombs were dropped thousands of years ago, things that look like bombers that we have today. I'm like,
so dude,
it's crazy how you can go so over the top and people believe it, but when you give people the real, they're like, nah.
No. So you don't understand is Scientology has people so brainwashed. Those people doing the thetan readings, they haven't gotten to that tier yet. So people say that. Oh, yeah. They're meant to think like, oh, that's just them lying about the church, because they haven't gotten to that level yet. They've been fed all the other stuff to get them to buy in and slowly brainwash them to the point that like eventually once you get to the highest level, you're like, wow, okay, that's actually, I guess this really is what we believe in, which is what's funny. And that like Leia Remini tells her story on that, and that's what got her to realize like this makes no sense at all. Is she finally got to that tier because her mom was at that tier, and when she read it, she was like, this is ridiculous, this makes no sense. And her mom was all excited. Oh my God, you finally got to read it, everything like that. Like, what do you think? And she couldn't even voice to her mother of like, I feel like we're just being fed a line here. Like, this is just a lie.
They have to read like some scripture.
Yeah, you essentially, I forget what they call them, but like it's like a scroll or it's L. Ron Hubbard's writing of like, this is the next tier. So like each tier you get a little bit more information. So like not everyone in the Church of Scientology has been told to believe that what Devin was talking about, you know, spirits dropped in volcanoes from F-16s and stuff like that. Like they haven't been told to believe that yet. So they think when you confront them about that of like, how could you believe in a religion that promotes this? They're like, well, our religion doesn't. I have no idea what you're talking about. Because they haven't been told.
Like the highest tier yet. People know that information. Yeah.
Yep.
The highest paying members who have been there the longest. It's public now. Like imagine, you know, working your way up a tier and being blind to that forever, and then you get to the highest tier, and they're like, "All right, so here's what it is." And you're like, "Wait a minute."
Well, that's just
aliens in volcanoes.
Well, that's just
with bombers that dropped H bombs. We haven't even dropped an H bomb.
Well, you've got to think like it's been
things
so
that
long.
look like H bombs.
Well, you also got to keep in mind too, Quentin, is like they haven't been told this yet. So they're told when they're lower, like, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing, because when you're a higher member and you know those things, you don't discuss the certain things that you know within your tier to lower tiers. You just don't. So, like, Scientology is very weird in the fact that it does what most cults do. Isolates you. You can only group think with your same level on what you've already talked about, but they're so bought in because they're trying to get to the next tier too, so they can't talk about their doubts in it. And then as you go to the lower levels, those people don't know about it because the higher tiers aren't going to talk to them about it.
So, and here's what I picked up from the documentary. The guy was smart, L. Ron Hubbard. He was smart, and that's how he conned these people. He played to their beliefs. He played to their interests. He played to who they want to be, took their money, built a tier system, took more money, got people in, like Clayton's explaining. Well, these tiers only talk to these tiers. If you're these tiers, you can coach these people up, but you do not tell them what you know. He built all these things because he was actually smart. He wrote several books before he made Scientology. Like he wrote books about the mind and how to think, and he wrote fiction books. He wrote science fiction books, but he was hurting for money. When he made Scientology, dude, he went through the roof, and then he just started compounding his money because he's like, dude, people are buying this stuff up. Not what he said, but that's how he's acting. That's how he's thinking, dude. And he's just raking it in, selling people on this belief. And it's like he was smart to it. He knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? But he presented himself as the good guy, right? Like selling you a dream. Con man's con man, dude. Like,
dude, it's
like
insane.
Dude, I'm like, you're scum, dude.
Well, dude,
you are a scammer to the core.
What still blows my mind today about like Scientology, and I still like, it's hard for me to comprehend that they're this brainwashed. He believes he was fought the Japanese and everything, got war medals and everything like that in his military records. And he has fake military records for the Church of Scientology. If you go access his actual military records, he never once saw combat. He didn't do anything impressive. He was literally stationed in the middle of nowhere, and they were like, look out for Japanese submarines. We have, now that it's so long after World War II, we know where all the Japanese submarines and stuff were. During his time and what he was saying happened, you can look at the Japanese records. They never had a sub anywhere near there. They had no crafts over there. It makes no sense. But he's like, nope, it happened. It's a government cover-up. But the Church of Scientology believes it.
Yeah, and his wife said that in the documentary, or it's the letters from her or whatever. I can't remember exactly, but he got a power complex. You know what I mean? Like he got a power complex from getting all those people bought in and to worshiping him. So yeah, so he starts making like you said, Clay, he starts making stuff up because he's like, I can say whatever, and you get a superiority complex, and then you start believing your own lies. You know, dude, that's the
guy that wrote the guy that wrote the book about the lizards coming here to steal all our gold, he should have started a tier system. That'd still be going.
Hey, bro, say what you want.
I wasn't smart enough.
But
smart people taking stupid people's money.
I still believe Devin's a lizard. He'll never convince me otherwise. And he already told me even if he was, he would never tell me the truth.
Dude, have you ever caught it mid-transformation?
Bro, I'm telling you, when I took shrooms, he came over and I saw his tongue lick the side of his ear, bro. I saw it. I saw his tongue, bro. I'm not crazy.
If my tongue was that long, I'd have a wife already.
Fair enough. But that could just be you trying to set the smoke screen so that I don't oust you as a lizard person.
Fair enough.
I'm telling you, I'm still bought in. He won't tell me what the gold's for.
Dude, so y'all see that video of those people getting killed over the Snow debacle?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
That was a rough watch, dude. Like that fucking hurt me inside to watch. But what's even crazier about
violent.
Well, dude, the guy went inside and killed himself after doing that. Like, the fact is, like, them, like, I mean, granted, now it's crazy to think, but, like, snow placement's, like, a real thing when it comes to, like, northern states. So we're in a southern state. We don't really experience that because, you know, you wait a couple days, it's all gone anyways. But over there, it's like, dude, it's months of snow. It doesn't melt. So snow storage is an actual big thing because, like, dude, don't put your snow in my lawn and stuff like that because now I have nowhere to put my snow and I can't have snow just sitting on my driveway and stuff. So it's like, it's crazy to think that this is a real issue, but in like a couple months it's gone anyways. It melts away. But like
the other thing about it, watching it, the first thing that I thought was that this was not off of a whim. This was built up. So while it is a weird, and the reason it doesn't happen in the South is because everyone is assumed to have a gun. Point blank. That's point blank, period. But that is not a one-time thing. You know, those neighbors were fighting for a long time. The way they were talking to him and the way the guy was like, he just got silent, walked off, came back with his piece, ran out of bullets, came back, grabbed a rifle, double tapped the girl, and then finished off the husband. Like, I think that was a long time coming.
Well, dude, like, that's just it, though. That's what's crazy is, like, people can just snap like that over something that, like, when you think about it, you're like, dude, like, what, really, is it a big deal?
That's such a small thing.
Yeah, it's the straw
that
not
a big deal at all.
On it.
There's no remorse for human life, bro.
Dude, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. That was not the first time that's happened. The way they were talking to each other, no.
Oh, no, I'm sure they've gone at it before.
If someone, bro, if my neighbor is pointing a pistol at me, walking towards me, I'm putting my hands up and I'm saying, okay, all right, I'm done talking, I'll walk away.
See, that's just
dude, he's walking towards them with the pistol, and they're like, "You're not gonna do anything."
Well, dude, that's just it, though.
No, bro, he doesn't.
I don't think
they're standing there until he pulls the gun, and then they turn around.
No, they didn't. Like, no.
No, dude, they kept talking when he was pointing it.
No. It went past that. They stood there still while he was shooting. He got like 3 rounds off before they started moving.
Yes.
Which doesn't make sense to me.
He's a horrible shot, but also it's frozen out of fear.
It's shock, yeah. It's just like, this guy's really shooting. And then the dude finally gets hit, and he's like, oh, and he goes to run.
Yeah.
Like, it's, dude, that, like, even then, though, I don't think putting your hands up and walking away, you're in too deep at that point. You're not getting to walk away. If that guy,
honestly,
with that guy, you're not walking away. He doesn't care if he won the argument. He's out for blood now.
That guy literally walked over onto his property and finished him off on his own driveway. Like, he didn't give a fuck, dude. Like, he killed her in the middle of the street. Like, dude.
But here's the thing. Long time coming. And if I ever I'm never going to press my neighbor that hard. But if I ever, for some reason, press him that hard, when I see him walking off to go grab something, I'm already being like, hey, okay, I'll fix it, like, whatever it is.
Well, no, I mean, it reminds me of the Abilene mattress murder. So, like...
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't huge mainstream news, but in Abilene, there was a father and a son of, like, they were, like, the father was, like, 50, 60, son was, like, 30, and, this dude who has kids and a wife is like trying to throw away a mattress in a dumpster, and the son and the father keep throwing it out and pretending like they own the dumpster. Well, they get heated and they're arguing and stuff like that in the back, and you can tell this has been like building up. Like, this is weeks worth of like, dude, knock it off, of them going back and forth at each other. Eventually, the husband comes back with a bat, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's fine. They're armed to the teeth with shotgun and pistols. Dude, they unload on him. I still don't think I haven't been able to find a verdict on the case, but both those people both the people that shot and killed the husband, went to prison. Like, from what I understand, they were in jail, they got arrested and everything like that. But to me, it's like, dude, all that over a mattress. And like by watching the body posture of the two people with guns, you can tell they wanted it. They were like, we want a chance to finally justify the use of owning these things. And it's like, dude, grow up.
Stupid.
Like, you can tell they're the type of people that should not own firearms.
Dude, that's what I was thinking when that guy was walking out with his pistol. Like, these two guys could just get in a fist fight. Someone might get injured, and then it's just going to be all right after that. But it's just taken to the next level of, like, I'm going to take your life and your wife's life, and that's going to ruin your whole family, and then I'm going to go take my own life. And so that's such a huge ripple effect. It's like a fist fight would have been over in, like, 30 seconds to a minute. Probably would have got arrested in a ticket, and that would have been it. Yeah. But it's like, because they were all so gun-ho, we're like, dude, nah, I'm bringing my fucking gat. I'm gonna blow this dude's head off.
Well, see,
like,
that's just it. I don't even
think
it's
really necessary. Like,
I don't even think it comes down to like, I don't think it comes down to like, oh, I just want to beat this guy's ass or anything like that. I think it literally comes down to like, I'm tired of this. I'm not gonna live with this anymore. These people are horrible people. If I'm going out, they're not gonna be here with me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was a long time coming.
It's like there was such a build to it that it wasn't just like, oh yeah, we can fist fight and go away from it. He was like, oh no, I'm not giving him the chance to win a fight. I'm not even giving him a chance to throw a punch. Like, it's a I forget what the saying is, but it's like God created man, Colonel Colt made them equal, and it's for Colt firearms. And it's because, dude, it doesn't matter how strong you are. If I got a gun, I still win. So it's literally just that. Yeah. I think it comes down to, like, that had nothing to do with, like, oh, I want to come out on top with this. They were just like, oh, no, this is done. I can't deal with these people. These people are horrible. I don't care who they have in their life. If they are friends with this person, they must be horrible, too. Because I feel like that's how you rationalize it.
That's what I'm saying.
But why did he kill himself, though?
Because there's the regret afterwards.
He has to deal with his consequences.
Yep.
He has to deal with his consequences, and he's going to go to jail forever.
That's what I'm saying. What was it like? Is it worth ending your own life and ending other people? Just like, it really bothered him that much. Like,
that's where I think it comes down to spur of the moment on it. Like, that's where it comes down to spur of the moment. You're so heated, you're not thinking rationally. Like, you're telling me, like, to me, if I get in a physical fist fight with someone, like, I'm not thinking logically clearly, because why the hell would you ever fight with anyone other than just, like, an expression of combat to see who's the better, like a respectable way to do it. It's to the point you're not thinking rationally. This man's blood is boiling. He does not care anymore. He's not using logic. I mean, dude, I've never gotten to that point in an argument where we're yelling and screaming, and I'm like, this is productive. We should still be here arguing. No, I walk away because it's like, this is a waste of time.
But that's the point, though, is he did walk away. He did walk away.
No,
he walked inside. He had time to think about it.
He was like, I'm going to... No. His logic was, I'm going to win.
He walked in to grab his gun.
Yeah,
I'm going to win. He walked in to grab his gun.
Dude.
He did not... No. He did not walk away. Let me calm down. He walked away. He's like, that's it. I'm grabbing my pistol. Dude, it was a long time coming. It was I own a gun. I own a gun, and I've never been so mad that I'm like, it's time to end this person's life. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was a long time coming. Dude, they had to be beefing. Their neighbors, the way those neighbors were shoveling the snow and then pressing him, making fun of him, and then we're like, you're not going to do anything. That is not a first-time thing. That guy was probably the quiet kid in school, tried to keep to himself, tried to live a normal life, and he's like, I'm tired of getting bullied. These people need to go. That's literally, he snapped. He finally snapped, grabbed his pistol. They kept talking smack. Boom, 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 horrible shot. Goes and grabs the rifle, finishes him off. And then, the reality hits in, right? That post, clarity. And it's like,
murder.
Dude. Yeah, and it's like, I'm about to go to jail forever. I can't go to jail. I'm just going to kill myself. He was probably like, I don't want to go to jail. The cops are coming. I'm just going to kill myself or whatever the case may be. But like, dude, it was not just I'm pissed. It was like, I'm done.
Well, that's just it, too.
I am done.
I think it comes out of the fact, too, of like, dude, if I go on a murder spree, like, dude, I'm not going. Like, think about the pain of your own family members, right? Like, you bring it into the news. Yeah, he murdered 2 people, and now he's going to prison for it. If he ever hits prison, it's dropped a lot quicker. Like, yeah, it's there, but you know what I mean? It's not in the news cycle forever. It's not like, oh, this person's finally getting sentenced now. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's also that of like, okay, well, he easily jumps to like, okay, this is the best solution.
Yeah, that's over.
So, I mean, either way, I think both of them came out like assholes in that. I'm like, one, no matter how hard anyone presses you, like, dude, you let it get to that point as well, and he could have just walked away.
Dude, I think about, people scream at us like that. Like, people get screamed at that every day in their jobs.
Oh, no.
No one just...
But
it has to have been a build-up, like you said.
Yeah, those are one-time events, dude. But again, dude, eventually one of those people that you yell at, or not us, but those people that get yelled at in retail, they're snapped. They're gonna find out where they live, or something. Like, something crazy is gonna happen, and it probably already has, and we just haven't read the article on it. But dude, like, but that's again, like, everyone I talk to about it, they're like, that wouldn't happen in Texas. I'm like, I know. Because you just assume everybody's packing, because most of them are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even, like, what do you think a gun owner looks like? Personally, I don't think I look like I own a gun, but I own a gun. Like,
mm-hmm.
Dude, I mean, Dave's packing, he has the CDL, like, he has it on him. He does not look like
that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So what does a gun owner look like? That's what I'm saying. That's why you assume everyone has one in Texas, and you just, if it gets escalated, it's like, okay, can we just not argue, or can we just do a fist fight, or whatever the case may be? You know what I mean? But that's the thing, too. If it gets
escalated, there's probably going to be more than just your 2 guns going off.
And here's the thing, too. Like, so, like, he walked away or whatever. He's already snapped. If you are ever in a situation in real life when somebody wants to fight you or kill you, there's no talking them out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You now at this point, you're fighting for your life.
Yep.
Because nobody wants to fight. Yeah, in real life, like, dude, wherever we're at, like, you can work out, you can do your jiu-jitsu, you can do your UFC, wherever you want. In real life, nobody actually wants to fight. But the moment someone finally snaps and says, I want to fight, you better be ready to fight, because it's going to happen, dude. You're not calming them down. It's done. That's done. Oh, well, hold on, bro. I was kidding. Now you look like a little beta, and now they're really going to press you.
Oh, dude, that's the same thing. Every time I get a heated customer, every time I get a heated customer and they walk out to their car, I'm always looking. I'm making sure they ain't popping the trunk. They're not grabbing nothing. Because if they pop the trunk, bro, I'm out that back door. They're not going to catch me. I'm too fast.
Dude, I wonder sometimes, man.
Bro, that's why I'm like, I'm always keeping my eye out. I'm not trying to get caught off guard with something like that. I'm like, that's also one of the reasons why I'm never looking, like, I don't like to look at my phone at work. It's hard for me, and if I do it, I'm in the back room. I won't do it in the front. Mainly for the fact of, like, I'm not trying to get caught off guard with something like a robbery or something like that. If I'm going to get robbed, I want to see it coming.
Fucking spam the panic button.
Oh, yeah, bro. Like, no, if a sketchy vehicle pulls around, I'm already at the panic button. Like, I know where we got them hidden. I know where 2 of them are. So, like, I will just go walk up, do something nonchalantly, and I'm standing, like, got my hand on the mouse of the computer, and it's like, they come in, 2 seconds, I slip my hand down, that button's pressed.
You press and hold, click, click, click.
Dude, my thing is, like, I still wonder about it, dude. Like, is it better to just let them rob you, or do you want the cops showing up to where it turns into a hostage situation? Has always been my thought process on it. I can think about that.
I don't know if it'll ever go a hostage situation, because those people are equipped to do a robbery. Like, they are not at the point, like, hostage, that's a serious, like, that's a next level thing, like, to hold a human life hostage. I think they're just equipped to take some high-end stuff, scare everybody, and leave.
Well, that's just it, bro.
To hold a hostage?
All I need to hold a hostage is a weapon. That's all I need. So it's like,
that's the tools, but you need the mindset.
But you're also, like, my thing is, you have to be thinking these people are thinking logically. If you're dumb enough to commit a robbery, I don't put that much past you, bro. Like, you're clearly not making rational decisions. So, like, I always think about that. Like, dude, so what happens? I hit this panic button. We're in the back room. Homeboy, like, goes to leave out the front of the back, sees a ton of cops. He's like, nah, here we go. We're going to sit for a while, my friend.
Sure, it's a possibility, but you have to understand they're out to protect themselves just like we are. So they're going to be like, oh God, the cops, I got to run. I got to protect myself. It's a different level of psycho to be like, to protect myself, I'm going to risk another person's life. So it takes like a demented person to another degree to do that. But yeah, the possibility is there. If that makes you feel better.
Dude, I always think about it. I'm like, well, Midlow PD rolls heavy, so I ain't worried. Like, we have one time.
Midlow PD.
Dude, they roll heavy. Because it's Midlow. They're like, dude, we got nothing better to do. We got like 30 cops on. All the cops love coming to our store. So I'm like, yeah, they're going to roll in heavy if they show up. Like, if that panic button gets hit, like 3 or 4 cop cars show up. And then if they realize, like, oh, it's an actual robbery, you guarantee every single cop's going to be like, we don't get anything else interesting in this town.
That's the other thing. Like, again, I think the whole Texas thing, too. Like, I know bad stuff happens everywhere and even in Texas, but it's like, dude, it's like, how bad does it get in Texas? Because those cops are just, they're people like us, and they're Texas people. They're waiting. They are waiting. They are waiting for it to happen big. They're ready to go. You know what I mean? Like, our civilians are ready to pull the trigger. Like, they've been waiting their whole lives.
So you think about that? You know what's crazy is that when it comes down to, like, I forget what it was. I was talking to a like homicide detective that works in Dallas. It was like, dude, it's horrible. He's like, there's just so many that we can't keep up with. And he's like, what's crazy is, like, compared to a lot of other big cities, we have one of the best ratios of detectives to cases. And he's like, even then, there's some cases where you could probably crack it, but you just don't have the time because a more pressing cases come up. And he's like, there are people you look at and you're like, I know if I could get an interview with this guy, I could get him to crack, but I can't because I have something else to do now. I have a different one I got to go to. Like, that's crazy to think that, like, people can get away with murder just because they don't have the time to look into it.
They'll have the resources.
Yep.
Crazy. Wags, have you heard about Texas trying to secede?
Oh, no, it's
not. Oh, my
not.
God, it's every year.
It's not trying to secede. It's that they're trying to pass the legislation to where, like, voters can actually vote to secede if they wanted to. So it wouldn't be like, oh, we, the Texas government, are seceding, and as a citizen, you don't have a say. Their argument is, no, we're going to give the people the say to secede. But, I don't think they understand. The Civil War happened. You're not allowed to secede the United States. Like, regardless of whether you want it or not, you don't get to. The whole, like, that war was fought on the fact of, like, oh, we have a major disagreement, just like you talked about. All right, let's get in some fisticuffs. All right, cool. I won. You're going to listen now.
Yeah, I was reading an article about it. There's some guy in Congress, in state Congress, that apparently tried to present the bill. I don't know. It's interesting. There's a whole group behind it that's trying to push it.
And you can push all you want. You give the people to vote on that and they vote in favor for it, it's not going to end well for them. And that's what I don't think people understand. You don't get to just randomly decide the law of this government doesn't apply to you anymore.
Yeah. Well, apparently because, the election was fraud, so.
Yeah, those people tried to decide, this election wasn't legitimate. We're taking it back. And it's like, oh, yeah, how'd that work out for you? Didn't work out very well. Like, it's another thing, too, is I think people are like, oh, we could leave if we want to. And it's like, no, you couldn't. No, you really couldn't.
No.
Well, it's like, dude, just the idea too is like everyone's like, yeah, you know, the people are so well armed, it would be almost impossible for the military to take us out. It's like, okay, you believe in conspiracy theories, right? Yeah. And, you know, the government's big bad, and you think they're so smart, right? Yep. Okay, cool. Then how come you believe that you're getting accurate data from the government saying, yeah, it would be way too hard for us to fight our citizens? If you really truly believe that this government is this crazy, all-knowing, smart entity, what makes you think in your conspiracy theories that this government data that you received is accurate? How do you know it's not another layer of misinformation to you? And then on top of that too, I mean, let's say it gets down to the nitty gritty and it comes down to an all-out brawl. Okay, nobody wins, and the government's not against doing a scorched earth policy. You don't think an AC-130 is going to be raining hell down on your town if y'all decide to make it a stronghold?
Sure.
Like, it's just,
it would happen quick.
It's just so. People pretend like, oh, the people could get together. I don't think you understand that the government would smash you. It's just that the government would smash you into the dirt before you even got stabilized to put together a resistance.
Not even just the government, dude. Corporations would smash you. All their different, like, I mean, people that have money across state lines, they'd just be like, nope.
Well, that's another thing, too. Do you think that Texas just gets to keep all their corporations that are heavily integrated with the United States? Do you think they're going to like, yeah, I guess we're going with Texas. It's a smart decision. Or do you think they're going to be like, let's go with the other 49 states who amass way more wealth for us than this one state? It'll hurt, but this is better for us in the long run. Like, it's just
I don't know, dude.
Bro.
23 million strong.
Okay, I'm not worried about that. It's never going to happen.
Bigger than Canada.
I mean, that's not hard to do. Canada's like, I think it's like 80% uninhabitable.
Yeah, there's only
like, while it's a big country, it's like, yeah, but 90% of it we can't use. It's like Russia. It's huge, but there's so much that can't be used for anything but unpleasant prisons.
Unpleasant prisons.
Oh, it's just wild, bro. It's just never gonna happen. I don't see.
We got Elon Musk. We're fine, dude.
For president.
Dude,
I can't get over
that. Would be wild, dude. That would quadruple the speed of us using crypto.
Bro, what bothers me so much is about crypto blowing up like that. It reached its peak at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like I wasn't even awake to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it all happened because Elon was like, yeah, Tesla's going to start buying Bitcoin. And apparently some German dude took acid and predicted it like a month before.
Dude, bro, just like I said when we were hanging out, I was like, all it's going to take is a big company like Apple or Tesla to start taking payments that way, and it's going to blow up. 2 weeks later, Tesla does it, and now, because Tesla started the ball, Apple's already said they're flirting with the idea of taking payments that way as well. Dude, it's literally keep dumping your money in it now. It's like a little bit that you can burn, put money in it now, and then also put them in stocks. But the point is, like, it's so funny how, you know, entrepreneurs change the world like that. Like, you think it's the government? No, it's never the government. It is literally the entrepreneurs of the world that change it. And then also,
they run everything.
To the effect, dude, to the effect he pushes so many things forward. Mainstream media news. I think it was NBC today. Dude, they were saying, like, the way he talks about Bitcoin and is potentially manipulating the market. I'm like, that is like it's such propaganda. They're still trying to turn you away from it, while all the big hedge funds and the real billionaires, the real controllers of the wealth are buying it The mainstream media is like, they're manipulating the markets. You shouldn't risk your money in this. It's super volatile. You don't want to do. I'm like, that's so funny. That is literally so funny. That right when the wealth people, the actual people who control the money are buying it, the mainstream media is like, you definitely don't want to touch this. Okay.
That's just it.
Okay.
They say it's volatile,
Okay.
but dude, like, honestly, like, a lot of the coins, like, not that volatile. Like, Bitcoin,
No.
not really volatile. It had one huge spike up, and it never really fell hard from that spike. Ethereum, huge spike, never really fell hard from that spike. Now, if you look at, like, the little cryptos that it's like Dogecoin, where it just came out, yeah, you're seeing huge spikes, huge falls, because it's like, dude, it's a brand new crypto. It's like the same thing as, you know, a brand new business hitting the stock market. It's going to be volatile in the beginning because it's brand new. People are trying to catch the wave, and then people catch the wave and like, all right, we're out.
Doge ain't brand new. It's been around.
Dude.
Well, Doge started as a meme, but like the reason the mainstream media is telling you it's volatile and not to do it is because they don't want you in it. They don't want you in it. They don't want you to start questioning everything because they know there's so many people that believe whatever's on the television, right? Or whatever the mainstream media says. While the real billionaires, the real controllers of the world are buying it up and they're going to hold it. Yeah, it's so hilarious.
Well, dude,
it's literally it's a joke at this point.
My biggest problem with Dogecoin, though, is there's no limit to how many they can make, which I see being a problem.
Same with Ethereum.
Yeah, but
Ethereum has an uncapped limit.
Yes, but they still have a limit, though, that they can set on it. They just haven't set one. Like, Dogecoin, to me...
Okay.
What?
No, go ahead.
I just feel like Dogecoin, the fact that it was made by internet people, I just don't... My thing is I don't trust it because there is a market cap on Ethereum while they can mine it and stuff like that. There's still a market cap to it.
So it's a meme coin, yes. But the thing with the difference between Ethereum and Dogecoin, well, so they both uncapped. There is no tokens based off of Dogecoin. There are many tokens based off Ethereum. That's the big difference.
Ethereum, yeah. Pretty much every token.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, based off Ethereum.
I'm pretty
system,
sure Dogecoin is literally powered by Ethereum, if I think correctly.
It is. It is.
So there you go. Yeah, so there you go. It's like their system is relatively the best. Well, essentially, it would be the best if everything's based off of it. Bitcoin is like its own thing.
See, that's what I'm trying to understand is like some of these coins are just other platforms for exchanging crypto, like Uniswap is apparently a token of Ethereum that makes it easier to exchange Ethereum. I don't understand it, bro. Like, I don't understand how some of these...
Rudimentary and not fully understanding it myself, the way I guess I look at it is it's like the idea of having $100 bill, a $10 bill is like the best way I can put it is it just makes it easily more divisible. It was the only thing I can think.
But like,
because like think about it, dude. Like, I can't just buy and sell Bitcoin and use that as a currency because there's no change breakdown. It's just like there's a cap to it. So it's, I don't know. It's just strange to me. It doesn't make sense, but it could just be beyond what I'm able to learn for myself right at the moment.
The way I look at it right now, honestly, is that I'm a monkey playing with fire. And here's the thing: if I'm going to be broke, I might as well be broke putting my money somewhere where it might grow versus continuing to burn it through just crap. You know what I mean? So it's so now when I go to Starbucks or I go out to eat, when I'm like, I'm going to spend $30 here, I'm like, let me just buy $30 on Coinbase. I'll go to the gas station and get like a protein shake or whatever or I'll just wait till I get home to eat. You know what I mean? Like that $20, $30 that I burn every day, it's like,
well, it's like the same idea of like the like Acorns, where it's like you use our card, we round up to the nearest dollar, and we just invest the change. It's money you don't really ever think about, but it's just incremental, and eventually it grows. So it's like it makes sense to a degree. It's just that same philosophy, only you're doing it personally without something doing it for you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, think about it. Like, if you think about, like, Acorns as a whole, like, just think about that. Like, if you made that, you get enough people on it. Let's say I just charge, like, yeah, we round your change up to the nearest dollar. We only take a penny when we do that every single time. And then just think about the average person and how many transactions they do in a month.
Dude, it's the controllers of the platform that make the most money, dude. And here's the thing, you could make something just like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would cost money to make. Sure. Yes, it would cost money to be a CEO, and it would cost time, but it's like you could just do the same thing but make it to your extent better. And while you wouldn't be as big as them, you could make some type of, you know, something off of it. Like, that's so many people are like, I need to come up with the most original thing never thought of. And it's like, dude, look around you. Most of it has already been done. It's already been done, and it's just copies of something else. Like, how many fitness channels are on YouTube? Yes, there's like 1 to 2 of the biggest that will never be topped, but it's like people make a living off of fitness channel. How many guitar channels? Mm-hmm. How many channels about Red Pill? Red Pill, which is just bashing female nature. Guys, many guys are making a living off of that. And, like, yeah, they're all pretty much saying the same thing in their own words. And it's like, dude, they're making a living just bashing women. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And then they have nothing but guys on their podcast. Like, let's talk about, you know, why women suck. Okay. You know, it's like there's no shortage of guys that want to talk about that, but it's been done.
Yeah.
But they just take a business model that's already been done, they copy it and make it work.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's just it, though. Like, when you do it like something like that, yes, but to the same degree, I mean, that's also the problem with the world today, right? Who's an actual entrepreneur trying new stuff? You could probably only name one, and we're all thinking the same guy. Elon Musk. He's the only one throwing out harebrained ideas. Just like, we'll throw money at it. Let's see if it sticks. You know what I mean? Like,
so
there's the idea of like, yeah, just do something everyone else has done to make yours. But like, then there are some people who are like, nah, I want the bigger fish. Like Elon Musk, like he could have started a phone company. He could have done that. He could have done this. And it's like, let's make an electric car. People have thought about it. They've never fully done it. We'll just make it the best. All right, cool. It's the best. Now he's just like, yeah, well, let's build a rocket system. You know, NASA already did it, but we'll build it better. And then they're like, okay, well, we'll make it land itself. And then he's just like, boring company.
So there you go. So the boring company is new.
And
but
then
you're right. NASA has been done. Electric cars have been done, but he did it better. But the other thing is, like, too, is that you have to be...
Like, he has so many different ones. I think the idea is, like, I kind of get what you're going after is, like, don't stop with an idea just because you think it's been done already. Do it. Maybe your system will be better at the same time. But at the same time, don't let yourself think, like, oh, I can only, you know, be a leech in the system and just grab the same market they're grabbing. Whereas, like, Elon was like, this is a problem. Here's a creative way to solve it. I've got the money now from doing those things other people have done to make something of my own.
I think of it like you're not skilled enough to make something completely new yet. That's why you need to try something that works. Like, I think about that, like Elon does new things, right? And like a lot of entrepreneurs, like they take business models that work and do them in their own way. But the big money is in doing something completely new. I totally understand that, but you're not skilled enough to do that. They have to do that. Mm-hmm. I think of it like sales, but I also think of it in music. When I learned guitar, the first thing you do not do on guitar is, let me write a song that's never been written before. You have no skills. Mm-hmm. You have no room to write a song that's never been done because you don't know jack. You spend your first year or two learning covers, learning scales, learning chords, and then you're like, okay, now I can make something that's somewhat derivative of something else that's written. I could call original, I could call my own, but it's like you don't pick up a piano or a guitar and like, I'm going to write a hit song. No, you learn 1,000 things, and then you're like, now I'm skilled enough to try it on my own. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
You're trying to have an original thought.
Oh, dude, so Devin,
which you basically almost never have.
You remember how we were talking about skating and stuff like that and trying to learn it and stuff? Dude, so I was watching a random video with Tony Hawk where he was reviewing skate movies. He was talking about one of the scenes, and he gave me something that I was like, dude, I wish I would have learned that when I was skating and we were trying gaps and stairs and stuff like that. He was explaining that what you're supposed to do as you're going down is push your feet down onto the board, but you have to do it at the right rate. And I'm like, dude, I wish I would have known that. I could have focused on that. I could have unlocked my next level with it. He's like, I think about it now. He's like, yeah, that's how we land big stairs. Is the reason why is you don't want your board to get away from you. So he's like, you push down to keep the board with you as you're going down. So he's like, when you go off, that's why our knees are so bent when we get into the air, and then you slowly just push down to keep your feet on the board and keep the board controlled. And then he's like, and then by the time you've hit like the bottom of the gap, he's like, at that point, all you're doing is just compressing your legs. He's like, that's all there is to it. I'm like, dude, I really wish I would have known that. That could have helped me a lot. Because you're thinking about it now, and you're thinking about every time you've done the gap and you did it right. You're like, yeah, my feet stayed with the board the whole time. You just never knew why fully.
So, like, one thing P-Rod said once is, like, he's like, if I do a kick flip on the ground, I do a kick flip. It's fast. He's like, but if I'm taking it down, like, I think he was doing a 10 stair or a 12 stair. He's like, I have to flick it differently so it flips slower because I don't need to catch it like right at the top. He's like, I need it to flip slower to catch it further out and then land it. He's like, you do your tricks slower when you go down big sets. And I'm like, that is so advanced. It makes sense. Yeah. And it's just so weird to be that skilled, to be like, I'm going to slow this one down specifically because if I flip it too fast. Yeah. Because if you were to take a set and you catch it and it's like, what are you doing? You're going to land on the stairs. It's like, it kind of floats and then you grab, it's like.
Well, it's also like a whole nother level of mastery, right? It's like, not only do I know how to kickflip fast, I know how to kickflip slow, I know how to kickflip at this speed. It's literally like, I've done these motions thousands of times and all the variants of that motion thousands of times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like moving the mouse, how you can see, like, Shroud flick to a head immediately. Even though the head's always in a different place, he's done every single motion thousands and thousands and thousands of times, each variation.
And, like, I think, like, even to the degree that, like, once you get really good, you also have to relearn how to do it wrong. Because I know, like, some skaters, like, they would make a joke and be like, and they do a kickflip the wrong way and make it do like what they call a rocket flip. Like when the kickflip goes almost vertical and they call it a rocket, they would do it on purpose as like a joke. Or like when I was doing pop shove it, I could just spin it across the ground and catch it with one foot and ride it with one foot. Is like, I had learned it so well, I could do it wrong and it would be funny.
You could still land it.
I mean, I get what you mean.
Do you remember? Like I would just spin it and just land on one foot and ride.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all remember that, but I had to learn how to do it wrong because it was like I had it down so well. And like even with guitar, like I've seen really good people at guitar, like they make a joke of what they're playing. Like, oh, wouldn't you hate if it sounded like this? And it's like to normal people that sounds good, but to people who know guitar, you're like, that's so cliche. But they can play it because it's like you get so good, you have to know how to do it wrong. It's weird.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying of like being such an expert in the craft that you know how to do it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude,
I find stuff like that
it's a weird thing.
I mean, it makes sense though. Like if you do it enough times.
We also used to do it. One thing I learned about doing it wrong was in journalism, well, in yearbook, really. The teacher tasked us with, he's like, make the worst spread you can possible. The spread's 2 pages, but you have 2 pages open on InDesign. Make it as ugly as you can. So everyone's like, oh, I'm going to use Comic Sans font. I'm going to make all the boxes the wrong dimensions. I'm going to make it look ugly. So everyone's in a competition of like, who can make the ugliest pages? And then we all put him on the projector and he's like, okay, now dissect why it's wrong. And it was like, he was like, do it as long as you can. And if you can tell me why it's wrong, now you know how to fix it. That was like
I guess it's like knowing it forwards and backwards too. It's teaching you to analyze what you're doing backwards. Wrong. It teaches you how to be so skillful at it that you're like, I know when I'm doing it wrong. I can fix this now on my own.
Dude.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Dude.
I never thought about being so. Dude. I guess it's the same thing too with being in sales. Like I can tell when the pitch is just wrong.
Dude, when I hear,
yep.
Okay, not that I don't rap, but I listen to a lot of rap and I watch a lot of rap battles. But when I've watched like rappers make videos about like don't rhyme these words together. I mean, Eminem even did one, but it was like, it's corny if you do this, and I'm like, that is corny, because I listen to it so much that I hear so many cliches, and I'm like, you have to know what's wrong and what's cliche to make it. It's so freaking weird, dude. And like, I don't know, man. It is a weird concept. And whatever you're good at.
Well, that's just it, though, too. Is like I feel like Eminem in the rap game was just a whole nother level of a rapper. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even like other rappers are like, dude, he was rhyming like 4-syllable words with other 4-syllable words. He was like, he just took it to a different level, and he's like, each different section would rhyme together in different ways. Like, it's just a master of his craft, really. Like, and I think that's also why so many people are distasteful with like the new modern rap, because it's literally just throw anything over a really, really good beat and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's super good. But it's like, I don't know, back in the day I felt like there was more of a focus on the words.
I think there was always going to be a pocket for people to care about the craft. I think because, well, I do think Eminem is a master at what he does, and people who are good at rap have said the same, right? There's like no shortage of compilations of rap legends giving Eminem praise, right? But I think there's always going to be a group of people who are really good at rap. So like now, today's rappers, you would say J. Cole, you would say Kendrick Lamar, I would say Ski Mask, the Swamp God. There's always going to be a group of rappers who care about it. And then there's like the mainstream rap that like, it just sounds good. I think the problem is people don't know when to differentiate. Mm-hmm. I think like when I listen to rap I just want this to sound good. I know what to listen to, and I don't pay attention to really what it is. It's like, okay, it's just music. It's just vibe. And even with guitar, it's the same. I think there's times when it's like, this is just good music. And then there's people who just shred. It is insane. Mm-hmm. And I play guitar, so I recognize it. But the normal person, they're like, this is annoying. This is almost ugly to listen to. And the same for Eminem, dude. Like, there's some people who are just like, I don't like Eminem, or like, I have to be in the mood to listen to Eminem, because it's like sometimes he makes good music, but sometimes it's just all technical. You know what I mean? And like, even like someone like Tech Nine. Tech Nine is super technical. Sometimes he makes really good songs. Sometimes he makes songs that are it's just him flexing how he can rap. And there's a group of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a genre for that. Like it's always going to be that no matter what it is. Like, it's like sometimes it's just a flex. There's a guitarist, Tim Henson, he's in Polyphia, that he talked about having to balance like when to make it sound good and when to flex. And it's like, it's so true. Like, you have to balance the flex. And I think Eminem has that now on his newest album. He knows when to flex and he knows when to make it a song. I think he's like one of his best ever on his latest album, because sometimes he'll make a song, but he'll also add in the flex. It's like, it's a different level of mastery.
Well, I mean, like Rap God, like you think about that. Like, I think about that as like, that was part of the thing too, of like rap. And then it's like flex. Like, he flexed how hard he could go with his rap speed, the actual words that he used in that, like, that was just a pure flex.
I think it was an absolute flex. And I think now on Music to Be Murdered By, and even the deluxe edition, even to the other degree, Nat is the single he pushed for it. It's like, it sounds like a decent song, but the beat switches twice, which means there's 3 beats in the song, which is crazy. And he flows to each one differently, but he he like raps, and then at the end he starts flexing like how he can get into any beat at any time, at any point when he wants to. And it's like, holy, but it sounds like a song. But then like when you really listen to it, you're just like, the level that he can put stuff together, you're like, what? It's one thing to rap it. It's a second thing to write it. Because like I can sit here and I can memorize it and I can like rap it along, but then like it's like he wrote that.
Yeah.
To that 3 different beats. What?
3 different
in one
beats
song.
And made it coherent too.
Yeah, it's not gibberish. It's not just like lyrical, miracle, spiritual. It's like, what the heck, dude? Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I mean, I think with anything, though, it just comes down to the amount of time you do it and how much time it is. I feel like for him, it's a passion. That's why he developed that skill. Just like anything, you put enough time into it, you can eventually master that craft. Which I just feel like eventually most people, what discourages them is they hit a wall in which it's not easy to see the progression anymore.
Diminishing returns.
Like same
thing
with working out. Like you typically plateau within your first year. Now you still get gains in the second and third, but you typically get the majority of your gains in that first year.
Dude, those first 3 years. The first year, unmatched. If you know what you're doing, the first year unmatched. But those first 3 years, that third year gets hard because you're just like, I'm doing it for the love now. But I said something. I said that on Facebook today. Not that, but I was like, no one accidentally gets amazing at anything. Like, you can like take a swing at anything first try and you can be all right at it. But like, nobody's telling stories about the most average whatever. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, Eminem's been rapping for longer than any of us have been alive. To be completely honest, he's been rapping before we were born. So, yeah, he had put a lot of sacrifice and then, you know, to put that in. And, like, people who are good at anything, Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan, those are all 3 basketball players. Elon Musk, you know what I mean? It's like they put in the sacrifice and the time to be good at something. You know what I mean? It's like people think, like, it's just like, oh, they were born with it or it's not for me. It's like, dude, they just did that thing over and over.
Yeah, I mean, there's freak genetics that come into play, definitely. But, I mean, even then, there's still a level that you can get to working as hard as you can into something. Like me with gaming. Like, I don't consider myself insane at gaming, but I consider myself above average. It is because I've spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. Like, when we all played Call of Duty and stuff like that, it's like, dude, y'all don't understand. Like, I'm past Call of Duty. I'm at Battlefield now. I've been playing Battlefield where it has more recoil. I'm having to account for bullet control. It's like I've gotten so far into it that I've mastered this craft. So for y'all are like, oh yeah, I casually have played it a few times. And for me, it's like, no. That was a period of my life. So it's like I snap back to it. Like even when me and Devin jumped back into Call of Duty, like, and I was playing on PC, it's different, but I've spent so many hours in shooters that it's like, all right, I know this is probably what they're thinking is a good angle to look at, so I should probably be pointing it here because if I was in that position, I'd be looking here. Devin was decent in some rounds, but there were some rounds in which he'd just get clapped, and I'm doing just perfectly fine. It's a normal game for me. I'm slaying. I think it just comes down to, like, you put enough hours in, you can figure something out.
Yeah, it's like there's, like, you can take yourself really far, and even when you take time off, there's a certain, like, your baseline can still be higher than others. Yep. I mean, I think about that with sales.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
like,
yeah,
I think about that with sales. Like this past week, I've, like, had to get more into the trenches, if you want to call it the trenches. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, you give me 3 days back, you don't want that. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't want that. Because, like, I was like, dude, like, I've gotten a lot closer than, like, people who have been doing it. And I'm like, bro. Yeah, I'm like, you know, like, it's just crazy to me. It's like I spent so much time crafting and working on myself to get sales, like, really high. It's like, dude, my baseline's still higher. Dude, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's always something like that.
I also, though, feel like it's kind of the old man in me, too. Because, like, dude, we got the new kid at work. And I'm like, dude, he's not going to be a good salesman. Like, I can just see it. Like, in the first week, I can tell, like, he's not going to be good. He's going to be horrible at this job. Like, he doesn't ask questions. He's too scared to ask us questions about what we're doing when he's shadowing. And my logic is, like, I want you to succeed, but if you're not willing to step up and ask me what I'm doing or why I'm doing something, why would I teach you? I can't, like, I can show you confidence to a degree, but, like, dude, if you won't ask me a question, you're not going to ask the customer a question. So it's like, dude, there's that part of me that it's like, these salesmen nowadays they're just lazy. It's a different degree. Like, I have that old man mindset of, like, these kids these days they got no work ethic.
I think, like, dude, like, and this is gonna sound like brutal, but, like, dude, if you're not willing to get embarrassed, if you're not willing to fail, you deserve every failure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not willing to put yourself out there, then sure, you deserve to suffer. And you don't think it's suffering, you think it's fine, but it's not fine. Like, and here's the thing too, like, and I think about that and I push myself, like, dude, every time I publish a video, I get fear. I get nervous. I get fear. I want to back out of it. And I'm like, this is the worst video ever. This is stupid. It's not good. And I just like, I think about that thought and I'm like, that's a weird thought. And I just hit publish anyway. And anytime I film a video, I'm like, this sucks. But I just don't even listen to it because I'm like, dude, like, this is anything I've been successful in, I haven't been scared to look stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're too scared to look stupid, then good. I hope you fail.
Well, I mean, even
I seriously hope you fail.
If we want to boil it down to something more relatable, it's like, dude, even like getting into a relationship, bro, if you never ask the question of like about dating and stuff like that, you're never going to get to the goal line. You haven't even taken the first step yet.
Dude,
true.
What we're doing, literally, I think about it, what we're doing right now. We want to make a podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to upload this one.
Yep.
We're going to have to upload this one because what are we going to do? Film 20 of them before we're like, this is the one. Dude, it's time. You know, we got to just put ourselves out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise we're just going to wimp out every time and be like, oh, it's not good enough. It's like, it's never going to be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It can be better, but it'll never be good enough. Like, just put yourself out there, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, my thing
dude,
is, like,
it's crazy.
Anything you do, you have to be willing to take the first step and then continue stepping after that. You can't just keep holding pattern on stuff. Like, the same thing with, like, me whenever I tried streaming. Like, bro, it was hard for me to even get past the first thing. I had all the gear. I had everything set up. I had the layout. I got everything moved into position. It was ready to go. And I'm like, now all I got to do is just hit go live. It's like, dude, it's a hurdle. It's like, oof. Am I sure everything's right? I want to triple check. It's like, I know it's right. Why do I keep checking? It's just that intimidation of like, what if this ends horribly? And then trying to talk myself through the fact of like, dude, so what if it does? At least you gave it a shot. No one else did.
What if it goes right?
Yeah, I mean, for real. What if it goes
really is that?
Since I watched that video.
Mm-hmm.
What if it goes right? But yeah, I mean, like, the other thing too is like, it's just a thought. You know what I mean? It's like those negative thoughts that come through. I'm just like, okay, that was a weird thought. Now I know the next one because, yeah, I mean, like, I think fear is such a good compass because like you're scared of who you might be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're scared of being successful. You're scared of making more money. You're scared of that. Like, what if this is who I truly want to be? You feel it and you want to do it, but then like as soon as you get close, you're like, it's like, dude, no, when I feel fear, I'm like, that means I'm headed on the right path because I'm like, I might look stupid. People are going to make fun of me, but you know what? I can suffer the rest of my life or I can just try this and maybe it goes somewhere. Like,
it's funny to me, like, as much as like one of my managers told me once of like, dude, you got to do the uncomfortable things till they become comfortable. You have to push yourself to do that. And it's like, it's such a simple phrase, but it actually like, it makes sense. It's relatable to things. It's just, can you heed your own advice when it comes to that? Like, understanding, like, you got to do uncomfortable things till it becomes comfortable. Like, bro, when I went into sheet metal, dude, I didn't know anything about sheet metal. I was worried I was going to make an idiot of myself. I was going to mess things up. but eventually you just overcome the hurdle. Just like with anything that you do that you become somewhat decent at, you have to get through it. Like the same thing with skating. Like me and Quentin jumped in. Devin's already pretty decent at it, so we never got to see the stage of him sucking at it. So we were going through that stage sucking at it. And we're like, dude, what? I don't understand. He does it so easily. But eventually we finally, like, no matter what, we felt uncomfortable on that board until you just don't anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know. It's just crazy
to
think about.
No, I mean 100%, dude. I mean that's a great way to put it. Because the things that like were uncomfortable to me at first with anything, I just with whatever it may be, people starting skating, people getting into fitness, anything I've done, people getting into sales, like the stuff that's coming to me is like super uncomfortable to them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, just do it. Because if you just do it, you'll get there. Like quit.
Yeah.
Like quit being scared of it. Because you know what you're scared of? You're like, honestly, most people, they are scared of it going right. Mm-hmm. That whole what if it goes right? They're actually scared of it because they you know why? Because they identify they identify with failure. They identify with being at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So they're scared of it going right. They're scared of being successful. They're scared of moving to the next level because they don't know what that feels like. That's uncomfortable for them. And I'm like, dude, like that's fine. Like, I mean, it's not fine to be completely honest, but it's like, if you don't want to progress, then keep doing what you're doing. But it's like, if you take yourself to the next level, like it might feel uncomfortable, but you'll thank yourself later. And like, you can impact someone's life the same. You can take someone else to the next level, but it's like, Nike.
Yep. Just do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Simple.
Just do it. It's gonna suck.
Fucking do it.
It's just gonna suck, dude. It's just gonna suck because, like, dude, like literally. So, like, I refilmed one of my videos, the Ultra Instinct video. I thanks Q for like pointing out that it just cuts off at the end. I actually didn't know that. I thought about resalvaging the footage, and I'm like, nah, I can do better. I turned that camera on, first take, Jake. Boom. I was like, and I even say in the video, I'm like, that redo is much better. And it cuts off to my outro music. But it's like, dude, yeah. Literally like 8 videos later, I'm much better. And the first one did suck, but I'm glad I redid it. I'm glad I found out it didn't end right. And it's more concise. It's more energy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Dude,
you bring
the first ones are going to suck. Get past Get past where it sucks.
Yep.
Well, it's like the same thing. If you go back and watch any YouTubers' like first videos on their channel, dude, they suck. It's horrible. It's hard to believe they ever got to where they at. But what did they do? They just kept going. They didn't stop. They just kept going. They looked at the work. They realized it sucked. They improved, but they never gave up. They just kept going. Same thing with like throwing a football. Nobody threw a perfect spiral on their first throw.
Yeah, Tom Brady used to suck. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, Tom Brady used to suck.
Who won the Super Bowl? Tom Brady.
7. He's won more than anyone.
I can't.
It's ridiculous.
That game, bro. I'm so glad I didn't watch. Oh, such a.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it either. But I'm saying Tom Brady is so big, he's transcended football.
Yep.
LeBron, Michael has supreme. You know what I mean? Like, you're so good, you transcend your art. You're like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised you didn't try to throw Kanye into that argument.
So, Kanye, I don't know. Kanye's 50-50. Like, M has transcended his art, yeah.
I could agree with that, yeah. I don't know. It's just definitely weird. I mean, just thinking about any of that stuff. Like, you got to keep pushing, can't stop. I mean, I guess it's like whenever it comes to working out, same thing. Like, it all kind of just ties into each other.
Yep.
Ronnie Coleman transcended his art because people outside of bodybuilding know Ronnie Coleman. Or Arnold. Arnold's actually a better example.
Arnold is definitely a better example. Bro, so I found out today, I was reading through like things I learned today. Apparently in Australia or Austria, wherever he's from, I think it's Austria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arnold, yeah.
he was not allowed to do his own German voiceover. The reason being is because the dialect in which he speaks is like the hillbilly dialect over there. So like no one would believe that a hillbilly is this advanced futuristic robot.
Dude, they voiceovered him. He played the role of Hercules, I think, in one of his movies. I think it was Hercules or Zeus.
I thought it was Conan.
It was Hercules.
I thought it was Conan.
Well, he did Conan, but I think he did a Hercules. He did a Hercules movie, and someone voiced him over.
Yeah, that was
because his accent wouldn't be believable for Hercules.
Well, I mean that too, and I've also heard that the reason, like in the very beginning, why he couldn't voice himself is because he literally did not speak English well enough, and his accent was too much. And essentially, what got him the job was his bodybuilding and his size.
And that is crazy, like, for him, like, to come over, you know, as an immigrant, you know, the whole immigrant story for real, you know, and transcend so many things.
Yeah, dude, he went from, what, immigrant, bodybuilder, like, top of the heap bodybuilder and weightlifter, then moves into movies, becomes, like, a top of movies and stuff like that. And then he gets to the point that he's like, all right, cool, what's next? Okay, politics. Let's do politics. I'll become the governor of California.
Governor.
Mm-hmm.
The governor.
Dude,
yeah.
It was great, bro. I still can't get over it. Well, I guess we're going to call it there because I don't think we got much more steam left in us.
Q, come on, bro. I know you got something to bring up.
No, I'm just thinking about penny stocks, bro. I'm thinking about getting into them.
Penny stocks?
Penny stocks, really?
Yeah, dude. I found there's a penny stocks Reddit, and people talk about like what they're gonna buy. Dude, some people are like cashing like $100,000 gains in a day because they're like 50 cents, 60 cents.
Oh my God, trying to catch the wave.
Dude, yes.
Always trying to catch the
penny stocks. But how much are they putting in to make those gains?
Let me pull it up real quick.
Because that's just like going, I made $50K on Doge. But yeah, I put $250,000 in. Like money you don't have to play with.
Yeah, you have to get to the point that you have the money that just grows other money.
Let's see. Okay, 1,350.
Because, like, dude, I was thinking about it for myself, looking at it, like, because, like, dude, if I invest in it, because, like, I'm in, what, $50 in Carnival Cruises right now. Bro, if I had, like, $100,000, I'd be up a decent margin. It's like, you have to get to the point of having the money where it's like, I can just throw a stupid amount of money at this.
Yeah.
It's like, but even then if you had $100K to throw, it's like, how much would you not pull it out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, this guy.
If you have $100,000 to throw,
he got 4,700. 4,700 invested in one, and he made 2,800 today.
Okay, I guess that's not.
And he's got to put all that into the next one. He did like 50% of what he had, or even more than that, actually, like 60, 70.
Well, I mean, that's what some people do, though. Like, the same thing with, like, cryptos and things like that is, like, some people eventually will, like, just go off what they've won. They'll only invest what they've won. So they make their initial investment of, like, what, 10 grand? All right, cool. I made $1,000 off of it. All right, pull my 10 grand out. And now I only play with that grand. And that grand I used to grow. So I feel like there's that, too. Of
play with the profits.
Play with your profits. That way, if you lose it, you're not really out anything. Which is the smart way to do it, which is why I'm upset I can't get ahead in Ethereum enough to where I'm like, okay, I can use that to invest. I can pull out my original amount. I'm stuck hovering a couple dollars above, and I'm like, I don't think $3 will get me very far in crypto right now.
Bro, until it shoots to like 10K.
I'd have to pick like a penny crypto and get it to just take off.
A penny? Yeah.
Like, just like Dogecoin is, like, you just throw, like, all right, bro, here's my penny crypto and hope it pays off in the bet. Because, like, let's be honest, there's so many penny cryptos out there that aren't doing anything.
True.
I don't know, dude. Penny stocks is
Forever.
weird. Like, what piqued your interest in penny stocks? What made you think, like, yep, this is the wave?
Dude, just going through, because from Wall Street Bets on Reddit, I found the Dogecoin page.
Yeah.
And then the Dogecoin page is kind of interesting. And that's the first Reddit page I've actually like commented on shit before. I'm trying to find a good exchange. And I'm waiting on my wait list for Voyager. That's the one I decided on. But I'm waiting for like a week for that. And then from Dogecoin, I found there was a Robinhood subreddit. And I was like, I want to see what they're saying on there. And then from the Robinhood subreddit, I found Robinhood penny stock subreddit, which was much smaller. And there's people posting about penny stocks on Robinhood they buy. And then I also found one, what was this other one called? It's called Satoshi Street Bets. And it's about like small altcoins that people are betting on.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, bro.
I don't know. I just don't know if I could ever get myself into like trying penny stocks out. Like I looked at it and I'm like, it's another
To
market
me,
to
it's like
invest in
a
for me to lose
crypto.
money at.
Yeah, it's like a crypto, dude. Like you said, if you invest $1,000 and get lucky.
That's just it. Like
I think it's like
I feel more
I think it's
comfortable
like with
trying
anything.
getting crypto than anything else. Like there's part of me that's like, I might take like $300 of the money that I have invested in like in Ethereum and throw it at one of these smaller stocks that I'm like, this will take off. But the problem is, like for me, it's like because I have a job, I would have to hope that it peaks on a day that I'm off where I can actually watch it, take it and switch it back into like another crypto again, and then just keep making those small plays and keep putting it back into the big one. But I'm like, also, I know there's going to be commission fees, so I also got to start accounting for how much commission it's going to take for me to throw it back into that.
How much is the commission fee? Because I've only bought. I've never swapped or traded or cashed out.
I haven't swapped.
Between cryptos, there's not. Sometimes there's not. But when you buy a crypto, there is. Or if you buy USD coin, like or USD, there is. And then if you go from the USD swap to a coin, there is. So to me, like I did that once, and I was like, that's stupid. So now every time if I wanted to buy like $200 of crypto, but I don't want it all in Ethereum, I'm going to buy $200 of Ethereum and then pull like whatever, like $50 from Ethereum and swap it over to Uniswap. And it doesn't charge me, at least from what I understand.
Makes sense. I mean, for me, like the way I justified my throwing money at Ethereum is like the commission fee they charged on me throwing $500 in was like $20, but I was already up $20 in crypto.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I'm breaking even no matter what now. I've made enough money that I break even with this investment. So it's like, all right, cool. So now I can justify having the 600 in there. I just need that 600 to grow, and I'm like, dude, I might take like $100 of it and throw it at some tiny crypto and see if I can hold. But the problem with being on Coinbase is a lot of them aren't supported.
Well, yeah, there's only so you can go to prices and you can go to tradable to see the ones that are actually tradable. Mm-hmm. But there's still quite a few. But dude, if you go to a small one, I recommend Cosmos or Algorand.
I thought about
because they're
Cosmos.
both on the up right now.
My problem with Cosmos is I feel like I already missed the wave on it. Like there's a couple of them that
dude, it's still going. Still going.
I don't want to get caught holding the bag like GameStop.
Dude, no, dude, get in before February 18th. They're launching an update. And that's why it's on the rise. That's why I said get in early. I got in at $9. It's at 14. I think it hit 15 today, but it dropped back down.
Yeah.
The point is,
dude, plus you get
February 18th.
APY, dude.
Yes.
That 5% annual percentage yield, which is freaking dope. Like, I don't really understand how, but I put in, what is it? Like $192, $193 into Cosmos, but I have $362. I don't understand how, but it's double, bro.
You put $192 in?
Yeah, 104 plus 88, and then they rewarded me 11 cents. I'm at 360, 259, but I have like almost a full. Yeah, bro,
Dang.
and like the Algerland. Let's see, Algerland. I put in $7. 10 plus 48 is 58. It's 58 plus 7. 65.
Yeah, 65.
And I'm at 104. I'm at 104 because, dude, Algerland pays you out every day. So I've got an interest 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent. And then that just builds on top.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost doubled that. Dude, both of those have APY. And the next one I want to try is Tezos. That one's been up a lot. I got to wait for a dip, but that one's got an APY on it. And so does Diecoin, which is really interesting to me because it's based, that's the one that keeps like level with the US dollar. So it's like, part of me is thinking like maybe instead of like throwing like, okay, I'm going to buy $200 of crypto. So I put it all in Ethereum and then work my way down. Maybe I buy $200 of Diecoin, let it sit there for a day, build up that, you know, like, do I let it build up that 2% or that APY and then I start throwing it into other coins? Like, could I just, you know, I'm like, this is my money for crypto this month, put it there and wait for the dips. So it builds up the 2% from DAI. I don't know. And it's always going to be at that $1 value.
I don't know. I mean, dude, I'm always thinking about plays I can make, but I'm looking, like, what bothers me is I was like, dude, Lumens, I was like, I don't know why. I think this would be a bit good pick. And then, like, I was like, stick with Ethereum.
Hold on.
And then Lumens just took off. Dude, that's just it. I never pulled the trigger on it. That's what bothered me is I could have gotten in and I would be up a decent portion by now.
I'm up $14.
I'm about to break $300 with only $200 put in. You see what I'm saying? So like, not specifically with Stellar Lumens, but with everything so far. But dude, Stellar Lumens, I think you get free stuff from watching the trainings. Yeah, so get in for free.
Have you? Dude, do all of those. You get like $31.
Stellar Lumens, New Cipher, and Algorand. I think Algorand has free trainings too. No.
Yep.
Stellar Lumens and New Cipher, I think. But dude, the ones with the trainings, the quizzes are super easy. The videos are 1 minute to 2 minutes, and actually, I skipped the first 3 videos and still got it right.
Get the graph, compound.
But dude, that's free money. That's free, literally free money, and then it grows on top of it. Just take it. You have nothing. Like with those I got with Stellar Lumens, I've lost nothing because I got all of it for free.
Yep.
Which is weird to me. It's like, it's weird to me. It's like, okay, you're giving me money to take your quiz.
It's part of building traction for the coin.
Yeah, they got to get traction for the coin. I'm like, so it's just weird. Like, I like it. I'll take free money, but I'm just also like, you're giving me part of your coin for free if I take the quiz, but then also you want to get me to buy it because it's like, it's still under $1. So it's like I can throw $50 at it and have 100 coins.
I don't know, bro. It's weird to me. Like, I thought about Lumens, but I think what I'll do is I'll probably take some money out of Ethereum and move it around. Is what I'm thinking.
Bro.
Don't take it out of Ethereum. Don't take it out of Ethereum. Don't take it out of Ethereum.
I regretted it when I did. I lost.
Don't take it out of Ethereum. Don't take it out of Ethereum. That's like taking it out of Apple, Q. Don't take it out of Apple.
Yeah, that was
left
dumb.
it.
I don't know, dude.
The day you took it out of Apple, they announced the car. And I'm like, idiot.
Dude, they announced the car, but the next day, Hyundai and Kia said no to Apple. They couldn't reach an agreement.
Give it time.
I've lost like they've gone up like I think 2 points since I pulled out. So
whatever. Okay. Well, actually, whatever Q does with stocks, just don't do. You'll make money.
Yeah. Do the opposite. Do the opposite, dog. Because I'm a panic seller.
So I am curious, Clayton. Like, it's not just one panda. It's like 20 pandas. Like, what's the deal?
Ain't nothing wrong. Some scenery, bro. We got a toucan over there, and then we got the what is that? That's a polar bear, and then we have a normal teddy bear over there. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
What is? But it's like not just one or two. It's a lot of pandas. Like, is the pandas the thing? Or?
So when you find a woman who moves in with you, you've only dated crazy chicks, but when you meet a logical one, it's a little bit different. They tend to have collections of stuff.
Show me where to find those.
They're an untapped market. At our age, they might be gone at this point. But the problem is, you get to this point in which you find out they have a bunch of useless crap that you don't need anymore. You love them for it because it's part of what makes them them. And then you realize, oh, I got to figure out a place for this that's not inconvenient for me. So you work out a compromise. So rather than these taking up room in the bedroom, doing absolutely nothing, we find a room that we enter enough and we throw it in the corner in there and it works out for us.
Throw it in the corner in there.
Yeah, dude, it's called compromise. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a lot of. I thought it was like I thought you were gonna tell me like, oh, it's like a joke we had between us, and we buy pandas back and forth. So like my grandparents have a joke about frogs. So they always buy each other frogs. There's frogs all over their house. And it's just because like it's whatever, it's their thing. But it's like I thought that was y'all's thing. It's like, oh, we had an inside joke about pandas. So now every holiday we buy each other pandas, and eventually it's gonna like go to the ceiling and like pour over and take over the whole back room.
No. Dude, you have no idea, bro. Like you only see that. Where there's a panda hat over here, there's a panda backpack, and then in another room we have a panda scarf, other panda hats. It's like this has just been something that has consumed her life. And if it's like I want to get her a stuffed animal, I have to literally take time to look through for a panda that I know she doesn't have yet. Like it's a serious issue. So I mean, there could be worse issues I could have in a relationship, but I'll stick with just.
Oh
pandas.
yeah, I mean, I would take pandas over getting my house around.
But even on top of that, it's like, dude, it's just. I mean, it's better than just having like a blank background with nothing back there. You know what I mean? So like, brings life to the room.
two LED lamps on the couch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you know that guy's a serial killer. Like, you can't trust anything coming from that man.
Bro, is your TV going?
No, that's
Did you sell it
LED lamp. No, it's still there. I have a lava lamp.
Bro, so when are you springing for
like,
the
you're like perfectly
4 foot?
blocking it.
When are you springing?
Am I springing for what?
The 4 foot lava lamp.
So here's the thing. It's funny because it has to get warm enough to do its thing. Because like it's been on the entire 30 minutes before we started. It still hasn't produced any lava because it's so cold right now in the house and outside. So it's like if I do this 4 foot lava lamp, it's gonna have to be. And it's like, is it gonna be in the video? Because like when I film videos now, you can see the lava lamp in some of them. But I'm like, it's got to be worth it. It's got to be worth it for the monster lava lamp. Because then I can like customize it how I want. I can have like a chrome base, glitter inside of it. Like, I can go all out.
I more just find it funny that, you know, you're like a product that was dead in like the 80s. I got that. There's still a market out there. You're the demographic that's still left after everyone else has moved on. Like, bro, you relate to like a 10-year-old kid who sees a lava lamp and like, that's cool. I gotta have it,
dude. Like, bachelor to a T. Like, they'd like open my fridge. You're like, this guy's single. Like, but not only that, like, okay, lava lamps are still cool because it's retro now.
Oh God. People in your retro.
It's weird that that's retro.
It's funny to me that y'all keep up with trends, but I don't at all.
Dude, no, like when I was at the gym today, I put on one of the playlists I put on was like a classic rock workout or something. Anyway, the point is, you know it's old music when the remastered version is even a throwback. because there's like a 2015 remaster of like a Van Halen song, and I'm like, that's still 6 years old at this point. I'm like, oh my gosh, the remastered version is old.
Bro, that's just
Getting
it, though.
the
That's
iFit days here.
that's the thing that sucks about getting older. Like when you do listen to music and you're like, oh, I'll turn it to this, and you're like, dude, I listened to that in high school. I guess I'm old now because now it's retro, and they're like, this is classic rock, and it's like, what? No,
You are old.
no, it can't be,
Dude, pretty soon, like emo music will be classic emo. You know what I mean? Or like whatever,
Classic
you know.
emo.
Well, it's like the
Dude,
same
it
thing,
will
dude.
be.
The one thing I still love listening to is like the 90s rock that happens. Like when you had like Green Day and
Dude.
stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude,
Incubus.
it always makes me think of the
Incubus.
American Pie movies every single time.
Dude, I heard an Incubus song yesterday. Had like over triple-digit million views, and I'm like, dude, this was a good song. I can't think of the name of it, but the music video is him, he's drawing himself. But I'm like, dude, oh my gosh, like this is old at this point. It's like 20 years old almost at this point. But
Yeah, Drive.
Okay, yeah. If you were to play it, you'd be like, yeah, I've heard this song before. It's one of the things. It's one of the songs you don't know the name of, but when you hear it, you're like, I heard this before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%, dude. And I think the weird thing is like emo has its waves. Like there's a TikTok right now of that. I don't know if you've seen that Domino's guy singing an all-time low song. He actually sings really well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, it's not a phase, mom. It's a lifestyle. And like he like screams like, you know, he sings the first like 30 seconds of like Dear Maria, count me in. But it's like actually like really freaking good. You know what I mean? But it's like, dude, it's like that's classic, almost classic rock now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's weird to think
You know?
about that about getting
Weird.
older.
This is classic, but yeah.
The things you listen to are considered retro and old now. Like, bro, if you were to ask me to name a song from the current era, couldn't do it.
Oh, I could give you current.
Yeah, because y'all still stay hip to the game. Me, I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Cash out.
Hips to the game, dog.
I'll be that old bitter man in the corner. Like the same thing, dude. Like my lingo that I learn is like Twitch chat, bro. That's what I've learned. Like Pepe hands and no cap. Learned it from Twitch.
No cap.
See, no
dog.
cap. Yeah, no cap I'm familiar with, but that's like really broad. Like, I think like your lingo might stay the same and get outdated, like our lingo as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think recently what came up that kind of started the divide was there's a trend right now of like if you wear skinny jeans and you have a side part in your hair, you're old. And it was like, it's like, dude, it's like that's like millennials now or whatever. So there's like this war on social media of like everyone's like, I wear skinny jeans, I side part my hair. It's like I'm not old, am I? And like another thing is like e-boys. Like I saw a skit from this guy on YouTube. He's like Ryan the Leader. He makes a lot of funny skit videos. He's like what it's like living with two e-boys, and it's like I watched it and it was kind of funny, but it was also like I get it because it's funny, but I don't really get it because I know the context of it because like I'm not hip to what e-boys 100% completely are. This is a whole new thing.
Mm-hmm.
On like TikTok, it's like black dyed hair, dangly earrings, and it's like a lot of the comments were like, "This is making me feel old," because it's like it's a new trend we're not in touch with,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like
Ugh.
it is funny like watching humor like that, and you're like, "This is not relatable at all." What do you mean?
I mean, dude, that's why I'm just battening down the hatches and going for the Viking look. Keep it old and classic, bro. They knew what they were doing. There's no one who's going to see you with a Viking look and be like, you're old. They're like, huh, that's an odd look.
That's an odd look.
Dude, that's why I'm letting my beard grow. That's why I'm letting my hair go out. Like eventually, like I may go dwarven with the beard if it gets long enough and have like beads and stuff.
Dwarven.
I mean, dude, I'm 5'2".
Dwarven,
What do you expect me to
dog.
do, bro? I gotta embrace my culture. I might take up mining,
Dude, that would be sick.
Like, I mean,
Pick up mine.
hey, you know what I mean. Hi ho, bro.
Mining.
But yeah, dude.
Just carry around a bunch of fucking Bitcoin miners.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's the new age with it, bro. Dude, that's the YouTube channel I go with. I do like I'm dressed as a dwarf and I have mining gear and stuff like that, and I just talk about crypto. Like, what are we mining today, boys?
I saw something today. It was like Bitcoin mining like takes more electricity than Argentina, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what if in the future, like now we're debating like your currency isn't ethically taking energy like our currency. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a new problem introduced.
See, I more look at it as rather of like, is it just that we mine that much crypto and it's more efficient, or is it just Argentina doesn't have enough electricity? Like, I'm not
what's
looking,
the comparison?
Like
what's the comparison?
Yeah, like what's the actual ratio here? Like, are we talking like like half their population doesn't have electricity and it's supposed to make me feel bad? Like, dude, it's not my country. Like, does it suck? Yes, but it's more, like, am I supposed to
make more money than a homeless person? You should feel bad.
Exactly. It's like, where do we draw the line of it's like, all right, that problem's bigger than me. You know what I mean? It's like dude, how am I, one person, gonna fix third world poverty? It's not gonna happen.
It's like, well, the thing that like the one that tripped me out was like, are people gonna virtue signal like the efficiency of our crypto? But then I was also like, is this just another propaganda of like trying to villainize crypto and be like, you shouldn't do it because like it takes electricity and like that comes from stuff.
No, that's where you gotta go full ruthless capital, baby. I don't care. I'm at the top.
Lean into it.
Who cares about the bottom? I'm at the top, dude. Let's be honest. If I was the 1%, why would I care? Yeah, like, dude, if I got Jeff Bezos money, oh, you can't pay your rent this month. Sucks to be you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I would hate to be you.
To be at that, like, to get to the point in the top of anything, dude, you gotta be ruthless. It's the way that it works in a capitalist society. The most ruthless get to the top.
What's funny, too, is, like, if you make more than $30K a year, you're in the top 1% of the planet. So it's like, what is your barriers? Now, in America, you are nowhere near the top 1%. As far as the planet's concerned, if you make 30K, you're in the top 1%. So who's the villain?
Mm-hmm. But let's go further to the fact of, like, maybe this virtue signaling is just another play to make you feel bad and keep you a sheep. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Dude, yeah. 100. Dude. Yeah, you should feel bad for being successful. Because when you're successful, you're taking success away from other people. It's like,
bro.
No.
So,
those people, no, they would have done it.
Here comes the deep conspiracy
for the most part.
At you, bro. So the deep conspiracy is the 1% have the people virtue signaling, and they pretend like, oh, we just can't live in this world of virtue signaling. But in actuality, they're getting you to virtue signal the fact that even though they're attacking their own of like this 30K worker who's making only 30K a year is now feeling bad about himself for making 30K a year, and he has to give it to the other poor people. You know what I mean? Maybe it's that deep. They make you feel so bad about yourself, you're not concentrating on them, you're concentrating on the third world and all those poor people.
It's a red herring.
Yes. I'm telling you, bro, the conspiracy runs deep.
Oh, look at those. You know, what do you mean? You should worry about those other people. Yeah.
Exactly. Why are you looking at this? Have you looked at that? Just some
100%.
diversion tactics, dude. We'll see how long the conspiracies go. I feel like every episode and stuff like that we do, I'm eventually going to put together some conspiracy in my mind of like, dude, maybe that's the conspiracy. I'm telling you, if I didn't have people around me to be like, dude, no, that's a little wild, I feel like if I was alone, I'd go full conspiracy theorist, dude. I could go deep down that rabbit hole.
I mean, I don't think we're not really going to stop you too much. We might egg you on.
To the point of like,
frogs are good, dude.
all right, guys, we're going to have to change the podcast name. They're on to us. We got to switch it up.
We have like one subscriber. We
gotta get rid of the channel. They're watching us. They're watching.
Yeah. We're like, that one subscriber is a secret agent.
We can't trust him. I'm Mr. FBI guy. I know it's you.
Subscribers like my mom.
Just start to the
Dude, I know, right?
Just start to the point that I'm accusing every guest.
Know her as your mom,
but she's really a CIA plant. Okay, I'm not that stupid, Quentin. I know that you were adopted and that you have no family, and that they're just working you as a secret agent to get close to me.
The whole thing, our whole childhood was a sham, and it was just for the secret agent to collect intel.
It makes sense, bro, because you're lizard people, and he's the CIA plant. Y'all are working together to keep me from realizing it, keeping me down, because I'm the real human.
The real human. That's what we're going to take away from you.
Yeah, bro. Y'all are trying to keep me suppressed so y'all can keep robbing me. And you, the CIA agent, are only in on the take so that you can be somewhat near the top. You're the middleman.
Middleman.
It could happen.
I'm telling you, I could go deep down some rabbit holes, bro. I can pull some threads that clearly aren't there, and you're like, what? I mean, it's not impossible, but I'm not going to tell you how probable it actually is.
We got the Galactic Federation meeting on Mars.
Bro, all three of us can go down some rabbit holes. Hey, last time I said everything we know could be a lie, and you're like, all right, I think we'll call it there. So we can all go down some rabbit holes.
That's true, though.
That's just it, though. I feel like you have to have people.
Trump didn't even believe the own legitimacy of his presidency.
Yep.
Everything is a lie, dude.
Yeah, that is true. He called
ever
fraud
since
on
you
the
said
election.
that, Devin, I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
He called fraud on the own election that he won 4 years later.
I was talking to Devin about that. That like every time he goes into his election, his strategy has always been they're cheating, they're going to cheat, and then when he wins, he's like, all right, we just kind of move over here and out of the way, and they'll forget that I said that,
dude.
And then it's like,
but
I finally lost, and my strategy's going in. That's just
he did win in 2016, and he still talks about it being fraud.
Yes, he
does. So he doesn't even believe his own presidency. Like, that's crazy.
Dude, but here's the thing, like, and the funny thing is, guys, like, why are we still worried about, like, impeaching him? He already lost. And we're still like, watch live. Impeach him. And all this stuff's going on with crypto. All this stuff's going on around the world, and they're like, no, you need to watch our older president get impeached. So I'm like,
dude,
does nobody find this weird?
Here's the thing, though. Trump is entertaining.
Conviction at this point.
For the past 4 years, what was it every single day? It was news about Trump. I'm enjoying the fact that I don't care about Trump anymore. I don't care. I could care less whether they impeach him or not. I understand the strategy of why they want to impeach him, though. If they impeach him, he can't run again. And then I also see the argument of like, well, he's not a sitting president. You can't impeach him. But I'm also like, yeah, but we also never had a sitting president try to incite an angry mob to overthrow an election. So I'm like, I think we're kind of in uncharted waters either way. But I kind of understand the argument of like, well, this is a slippery slope of where if one party gets in power, they could just keep impeaching the competitors that would try to run against them. It's like,
yeah, it's a new standard. It's like, if I don't like it, we impeach it. It's like, okay, you've now ruined impeachment. And also, it's like we're making a show out of like lies. We're canceling all the programming to impeach Mr. Trump. And it's like, okay, sure, he can't run again, but he's going to be too old to run next time. Mm-hmm. And it's like he's already lost. Dude, and like you said, Donald Trump is entertaining. There's been nothing about Biden.
So it's not,
except the fact that all that money he promised everyone isn't coming. All those COVID plans haven't rolled out. I think that's hilarious.
He's still been working on that. So like that actually has been in the news to a degree. It's not a main focal point, but they have been in tough like talks and stuff like that. But he can't get the GOP to work with him. So it's like, all right, cool. We're gonna call it a budget discussion in which we only need 51 members to vote in favor of it for it to get passed. So like he's still trying. It's just there's still arguments. Bureaucracy always happens, so it's always gonna take forever on it. But the other reasons to impeach Trump is like a lot of people I guess don't understand that if you get impeached, it pretty much strips you of everything. You no longer get your pension, you no longer get your benefits. Like you lose every tie to the government that you had. So every benefit that he had for being a part of the government, he no longer gets anymore. So like there's a lot of strategy to it. Because the other argument too is if you believe how much in debt he is, well, he can just use his pension to keep paying off his bankruptcy, and eventually he'll keep himself afloat. Well, hey, if we go ahead and impeach that man's going to go bankrupt, and it's going to solidify our argument of Trump was an idiot, don't know why y'all ever listened to him, and if he goes bankrupt, you're going to have either one side or the other of like, yeah, the man's not as smart as he thought he was, because if he was, he wouldn't have gone bankrupt. But there's also the argument of like, are his people so indoctrinated that they'll just believe the left staged a coup to make him go bankrupt?
No, 100%, dude. Like,
probably that.
Yeah, I mean, like, at this point, it's just petty. It's just petty. They want to strip him of all the benefits of retiring from it, right? And I mean, even if he goes bankrupt, he has such a following, and he's a businessman. All he has to do is be like, "Hey guys, I need your money so we can run again in 4 years."
Well, that's just it,
and
dude.
They'll be like, "Okay," and then he's not bankrupt anymore because he takes their money. Like, what?
This is also the side argument, though, that because he was stripped of Twitter and that he's being stripped of almost every platform he can have, he won't be able to rally his people anymore. Because where do you go? You have to go to the alt-right. And, well, you know what? Your middleman, like, conservatives that voted for him the first time, voted for him the second time, but don't believe everything he spews out of his mouth, he can no longer appeal to that voter base anymore. It's going to be hard for him to get traction in a lot of places. So, I mean, like, I honestly, if he runs again, I don't think he gets reelected just by the simple fact of he's not going to be able to have his voice out there like he had before.
Bro, he goes to Facebook. Honestly, he goes to OnlyFans.
Oh, they can just straight send him tips,
dude. But like, I mean, Parler. I know. There was like an issue with Parler, but Parler was like the alt-right Twitter.
Yeah, it's because they had absolutely no moderation on it. Was the thing. They had zero moderation, and then what's funny is the CEO got replaced because he was like, all right guys, maybe we should have some moderation, and they're like, no, we'll just get a new CEO. It's one of those things,
their CEO got fired,
that I find it like, it's like everyone's like, oh, they should have banned him off Twitter. It's like he literally has violated the terms of service, and like the only reason why he wasn't banned off was because he was the president. It's like, dude, you can't incite mobs. You can't say half the stuff he said as a normal person on Twitter. So it's like, you violate the terms of service. I don't think it matters who you are. I think that's above you.
Yeah. And that's why when people are like, oh, free speech, it's like, that's a private company. Like, if you...
Well, I mean, that's just it, that it comes down to the simple fact, too, of, like, let's say it goes to that point. Like, I get the moral argument of, like, everybody uses Twitter at this point. Like, a lot of people use Twitter. Is it a utility?
Still private, though.
Yeah, that's the argument that gets brought up, though. Should it be considered a utility because of how many people use it? Which I can see the argument of.
Well, and also like, yeah, I would say it's a luxury because I mean,
phones weren't considered phones weren't considered anything but a luxury until the world realized that it had to be a utility. So maybe we're just in the early stages of right now. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for it to be a utility, but who knows in a couple of years.
I mean, I think, like, you know, it being a private company, you have to follow their rules. YouTube will ban you.
Yeah.
Twitch will ban you. A lot of things will ban you because it's their company. You know, you're speaking on their platform. But I think to the extent that, you know, some people think that it makes their message grow stronger, you know, because anytime somebody gets banned, their supporters are like, they always throw up the same quote. Like, oh, when you cut off a man's tongue, you don't remove his ability to speak. You just, you know, you fear what he says has to say. Whatever. Everyone says that whenever their favorite person gets banned. So, you know, in a way, it makes his people go stronger, you know, in supporting him. You know, I don't think it's wrong. But then also you can see Joe Rogan's episode with Tim Pool and the Twitter people.
Yeah.
Tim Pool keeps putting them, dude, he keeps raking them across the coals. He's like, I've been threatened. I've had all these examples of inciting violence that y'all did not ban.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he's like, everything y'all do is left leaning. And they're like, well, you know, we can talk about that. And he's like, boom, 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 you know, like he rakes them across the coals like the whole podcast.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's just it too. Is like I've always felt like the left has the bigger voter base than what the right will give them. The left just doesn't go out and vote. Because, like, you think about it, it's like, well, Twitter's left-leaning. Yeah, but Twitter also has the most users on it. So it's like, I guess there's more left-leaning people. Like, if the left didn't make things popular, the companies wouldn't try to appeal to the left. And that's the funny thing, too, is I forget where I heard it, but someone was talking about the fact of, like, businesses are right-leaning. They just fake that they're left-leaning because their market is the left. Because, like, you got to think about it, like AT&T and stuff like that. What does their forward face always say on stuff? Like, oh, we stand for equality. We stand for this. It's always a left-leaning initiative. But when it comes down to it, who are they paying off when it comes they need the budget cuts and, you know, the paybacks and stuff like that? They need their taxes slashed and stuff. The right doing it, right?
Because they have the money.
Yeah, the forward face is always going to be the left, but the backside is always going to be right-leaning because it's what benefits them. They just appeal to the left because they know the left is the market.
Oh yeah, dude. Because they know who has the money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's all part of the game. Yeah. I guess we're good to wrap it there.
Yeah, I think we're good. I mean, I don't know how many people watch a 3-hour podcast, so hopefully they will.
I guess we'll find out. Oh, let me stop the recording.